Yangs!
The existence of a rock lobster insinuates that there's such thing as a wood lobster and like a metal lobster, right? Right? We
All the
should call up the
elements.
B-52s and see how they feel about this. Hi, everyone.
We
Welcome
live?
to
Oh shit, we are, aren't we?
Welcome to Impossible Landscapes here on Lost Caravan RPG. I am your handler, Doc Rimbo, coming to you from a secret undisclosed bunker location. And I am joined once again for episode 2 of our second season with our fabulous agents. We have so much investigating to do. So we are going to get started as quickly and efficiently as possible as we go around the table and meet our folks. Agents, I'm going to just go around, tell us who you are, your agent name of your agent, and basically what they do in their day job, maybe, you know, or something like that, or something else. And then we will just jump right into it because we got all sorts of stuff to take care of. We'll go around the horn, starting with the person on my stage left, which is Turk. Hi, Turk.
Hi, Doc. How are you?
I'm good. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm happy. I'm happy we're doing this. I'm happy about this.
I'm also very happy we're doing this. But yeah, as Doc pointed out and correctly stated, I am Turk, or Turk Accented, if you know the secret code. And tonight I will, of course, be Agent Maltese, who officially is a firefighter, more specifically an RIC, part of the RIC unit. Unofficially is one of the boys. And that's what he does for a living. It's a really, really difficult position. A lot of sacrifices need to be made, but you know, someone's got to do it.
It makes my job very hard because my instinct is to protect Maltese at all costs. You know, and anyways, we'll deal with that later when it comes up. Let's keep going. We'll go next to you over there. It's Colin. Hi, Colin. You are in it today, aren't you? That background is everything.
I'm really feeling I am bleeding red, white, and blue right now. I feel so very in the Magnolia mindset, which, by the way, is a terrifying fucking place to be. By the way, you can threaten Maltese all you want, but don't you dare hurt the boys.
The boys are the real treasure.
The boys are the real heroes of this. I am Colin, and I don't have a cool intro thing down like Turk does. I gotta work on that. So I am Colin, or Colin, if you want to call me by my first name. And I play Magnolia, who you asked what he does for a living?
Kind of like, what's his day job? Like, you know, Delta Green pulls agents in from all sorts of different walks of life.
Well, you see, he's on account of being dishonorably discharged from the United States military. He is sort of semi-retired. You know, he does CrossFit every so often, trying to stay in shape. He's not like an instructor or anything. He just goes to CrossFit.
Sure. Just goes. Yeah. He doesn't even exercise. He just goes.
No, he kind of just watches. They ask him to leave, and then he doesn't because he's sort of imposing. Let's see, what else he do? No, he likes. He does like his good stock car racing for sure. Goes down to Barber Racetrack once a year. That's for sure. Doesn't really have a job.
Likes a Golden Corral.
Loves Golden Corral. I can't believe I didn't mention Golden Corral, but he loves Golden Corral. Absolutely loves Golden Corral. And they got that veterans discount. Choice. I'm telling you, you got to get their early bird special, though, because then it's really cheap.
Yeah. Oh, bless him. Fantastic.
That's what he does. Yeah.
I love
sort of
it.
lives
Thank
his
you.
life now that he's on the other side of 2 tours of duty in Iraq.
Making the most of his days, you know? Go visit his peepaw.
Go visit Peepaw for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Great. Let us go directly below you. Cyberella, hello. New agent alert. Hi, welcome. Good to see you. You do exist. Tell us who you are. Tell us about Agent Maple.
All right. Well, I'm Cyberella Draws. Cyberella. Agent Maple is an old hat at this. She's been around as an intelligence analyst since She was not around for what happened in season 1 because at the time she had broken her hip and went into like early retirement. And she came back from retirement because of, well, 9/11. It was all hands on deck, and so she's been basically working since then. So she's kind of an old lady.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Longtime member of MCell. And I'm so glad that she's showing up today because we need her. We need her now more than ever. Let's move to your right for our other, not a new agent, because Agent Abandon has been on a mission with me before, right? But a new addition to MCell. Lonnie, what do you want to tell us about your agent?
Well, my agent sticks out like a sore thumb because she doesn't have an M name. It's very sad. I am Agent Abandon, or maybe Abandon, or maybe something else. I don't know. Probably not. I don't. Who knows? But you know, she is going to be very interesting because she's kind of new blood at this. So Maple is gonna, you know, be the bringing all the old techniques into it. I'm gonna be just running into any situation I can as a historian and think that I can solve a problem, and we will see how that goes.
Wonderful, terrific. I can't wait. And finally, over just below me on the screen is my friend Liv. Hi, Liv.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. What's going on?
Oh goodness. I used to have a little intro that I do all the time, speaking of intros. So, hi, I'm your girl, your pal, cutest person on the internet that you know. My name is Liv. I use she, they pronouns, and I play Agent Margin, who is taking over as like the lore expert, you know? There's like the history that they teach you in books, and then there's the history that you gotta know where to look. To know, to find out, to learn the things they don't want you to know, okay? And that's what I'm all about. Margin is also a professional author. She has penned a very popular middle grade to YA book series, very, very meaningful book series, but like she doesn't like talking about it too much. It's not that big of a deal. But yes, very successful author, but secretly an incel agent.
Nice, excellent. And just as a reminder, our standard weekly reminder, we're saying MCell.
Yes, MCell.
Not incel. That's a different one shot. Yeah, that's something we'll do someday, I swear. And also thank you to our sponsors. Epidemic Sound does all the music and sound effects that we use here on Impossible Landscapes, and they have just lowered their pricing, which is fantastic. So for a subscription fee, and I'm really happy about that. And they have great stuff for use. Speaking of which, let's play a little bit of it as we sort of set this up. All of our agents are using safety tools. We use X and O cards, lines and veils, mostly because this is a horror game and it is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. This game, specifically this season of Impossible Landscapes, will most likely include death, surreal horror, body horror, psychiatric hospitals, all sorts of things that may not be your thing. And so that's the case. Please take care of yourself and take a break and step away. But know that we're all in good hands here, at least on this side of reality we are. Who knows whose hands we're in on the inside of this story. All right. Deception is a right. Truth is a privilege. Innocence is a luxury. Knowledge is death. Secrets are the lifeblood of Delta Green. They are its reason for existing and also its prime target. They both exist to deal with secrets, but then in many cases, the secrets will consume them from the inside. And in a year like this, 2015, where our story takes place and beyond, where everyone has smartphones and Google and who knows what else, how can secrets ever be kept? The answer is simple, usually. Most of the things that Delta Green investigates, the unnatural, will often hide itself out of self-preservation or something like that. And in some cases, it will even go as far as to consume those who have been exposed to it, thereby removing the vector entirely. But in those cases where knowledge slips through the cracks, that's when we get the really interesting stuff. That's where Delta Green is called in to investigate, eliminate, and suppress that knowledge of the supernatural. But one thing we know, and I'm sure you agree, is that secrets have a way of coming out. It is August 30th, 2015. We are at the Stone Motel in the Dorchester neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts, where 3 members of MCEL are in 2 separate rooms, having just arrived in the city in response to an activation. The activation was disguised as a birthday party invitation for somebody named Richard Zaloni. And just right out of the gate, there was some interesting stuff that the agents noticed last week. One thing that I'm sure is on all of their minds is MCEL primarily deals in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. That's like their prime territory. But this is Boston that they were summoned to. That's weird. The invitation itself is a little bit odd. And later, when back in their rooms, one agent, I believe it was Agent Margin, used her skills to sort of peel that invitation apart and find something on the inside. It was a request exemplar, a handwriting comparison sample in different handwriting than the front. And then in the bottom right corner of that invitation, there was a gold foil symbol with the name Person written around the outside. This being as weird as it is, as I continue to talk about this invitation, Liv, can I get Margin to roll me a sanity check, please?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over in the other room, where Maltese and Magnolia are staying, Agent Maltese noticed something else that's odd, which is that in the words of the invitation, over certain letters, they were almost too faint to see, like very faint gray, maybe pencil dots, spelling out the words, "Help me." And that struck him as strange. How did you do on that save?
I failed.
All right, you take 1 point of sanity loss.
Okay.
A 57 over 51. Don't forget, for those of you watching at home, that you can donate hero points for rerolls on these checks, or villain points for forced rerolls. So, let's stay with Margin here. How does Margin react to seeing these things? Does she do anything right away?
Goodness, to seeing the symbol, right?
The secret. Yeah, the symbol. Also, just the weirdness of that lower layer of the invitation.
Yeah, I mean, I think she keeps like running her finger over the seal. Just transfixed by it.
It has a certain texture to it. It's like that gold foil. It's very smooth.
I myself keep thinking the worst ideas, and I'm like, no. She can't do that. We can't go there. We can't do that.
Do it.
No. I will say though, I do. Because she is thinking these thoughts, I do think she's looking around at the room, because this is a motel, and most of the time, famously, motels and hotels actually have their furniture like it's either very heavy or it's fixed to the walls. Like, it's very difficult. You can usually move the mattress, but it's very difficult to actually move the bed. So that's kind of getting in the way of what she would like her plans to be, of what she would like to do.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, good to know. Let's go over Maltese. You just found this "help me" message encoded in this invitation. Do you tell Magnolia? Do you do anything right away?
Magnolia was going over weapon prep. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been talking at you this whole time, and I don't think you've been paying attention because you've
No.
been on.
It's just been like odd. Like he's gotten so bored, he's looking at the note again, just to like, Hey, Mag, you
Yeah.
Did you see this? And he's gonna get up and just like move some of the guns aside from the very carefully, I imagine, placed position and just put down the note. Look at these letters here. Someone put little dots above them.
Those are loaded. You should really be more careful for you.
Okay, yeah. Well, don't put loaded guns on the table. It's for notes, clearly. It's a writing desk. But my point is, look, the letters. They got little dots over them. And because okay, you're really helping my. You're not being much of a Watson to my Holmes right now. If you look at each of the letters, they spell out "help me."
I've been demonstrating how to fire a 38 special to you for these last 5 minutes, and you've been looking at little dots.
It's little dots that say "help me" on the note we all got. So, like, obviously, this isn't just an invitation. We knew that already, but like...
Okay. So, it's an invitation to help someone?
Well, someone's in danger, more so than a regular mission.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't make this mission particularly different than any other one, then, does it? On account of basically someone's always in danger, and that's sort of why they...
Yeah, but usually they just fit the little triangle in there, and now it's a thing.
Okay. Follow up. Who's in danger, Maltese?
Well,
is the card in danger? Is someone trapped inside the card, Maltese?
Maybe.
Needing to get out?
Maybe something is trapped inside the card. Or, more likely, Richard Zaloni or whoever Richard Zaloni actually is in a bit more danger than we thought.
I've been working under the assumption that Richard Zaloni is not a real human being, Maltese.
Okay, well. Fine.
Is that not your assumption? Because, Delta Green isn't known for putting, all the actual information in the initial invitation that they send you.
Okay, but then why would they mark out "help me"?
Does Delta Green need help? Because we're going to help them, I think. That's what we're here to do.
You are hard to talk to sometimes.
On the contrary, I find you rather easy to talk to.
Thank you. The point being, I think this job is going to be a bit more important, all right? And so maybe you take your loaded guns off the table and, get them packed and ready for tomorrow.
Please don't touch my guns.
I am not touching your guns. I know how you get about your guns. I made room. That is it. But I am suggesting maybe you put away the incriminating evidence in case someone tries to do room service tomorrow, and we be ready for whatever's going to happen.
Maltese, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do I look like an amateur to you?
I know you were going to say that.
Do you think I would leave the guns out all night for the cleaning lady to see come morning? That there'd be about, by my count, something on the order of 30 felonies sitting out here under state and federal law for the cleaning lady to see? Was that a serious concern of yours, Maltese?
I'm sorry. I just found "help me" on a note. All right? I'm trying to have a bit of a... I'm trying to have a little bit of a investigative thought process here. And, you're stonewalling me.
No, I hear. Well, okay. Let's recap what you've learned, Maltese. You got a note that says "Help me."
In secret. On an already secret note. It's double
Right.
secret.
I should stop. I should start from the top. You found a note that says "Help me" in secret. What's point 2 on that list, Maltese?
Someone needs our help more than just a regular Delta Green call.
Yep, those are the meaning of the words "Help me."
Okay, so what are we gonna do about it?
The same thing we was gonna do anyway. We were gonna go there to the place listed on the invitation and see what the fuck's going on. Pardon my cursing.
It's fine. Ah, jeez.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
Remember last mission? When well, I'll just cut to the chase here. When I had to stab that guy in the throat repeatedly until he died.
I'm familiar with the process.
Yeah, okay. Are you going to be all squeamish about killing people again this time? Because that's sort of like in the mission description, and I'm going to need you to kind of have a stronger stomach this time around. If that's at all possible.
It's not in there exactly. All right, it says, you know, mitigate the spread of this, you know, thingy. It doesn't mean shoot everybody.
Maltese, what is Delta Green Standing Order number 1?
I don't know, Pink on Tuesdays?
You're very funny. Now, Delta Green Standing Order 1 is stop the phenomena. Do you know what Delta Green Standing Order 5 is?
Save people.
Bingo. Disco. Got it in one. There's like 4 whole orders in between that first one and that 5th one. I don't need to list them. I'm just pointing out that saving lives is like pretty low priority when it comes to Delta Green. It's literally the 5th thing on the list, Maltese.
It's on the list.
It's on the list, but it's barely on the list. There's only 5 things on the list, Maltese. It's the 5th thing of 5 on the list. You're like a paramedic or something? I was wearing that stupid t-shirt.
Firefighter.
Should have known. What's the matter? Couldn't get in the police academy?
I will hit you. I will not like what happens afterward, but I will hit you.
You know, I'm just teasing you because we're friends.
Good. I just...
But look, you clearly got a saving lives thing going on, and I get that. That's your calling. I respect that. It ain't exactly applicable in this environment, is all I'm saying, so you're going to need to sort of see past that.
I understand what needs to be done. I do not have to approve of everything, though. That is my choice. I've made sure all my handlers know about that.
And I respect that.
But if you need to stab someone repeatedly in the throat, you'll forgive me if I do not look with anticipation at the event.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about you looking as what happens when you, Maltese, need to stab someone repeatedly.
I bashed that lady's face in when she put that mask on, I'll have you remember.
You know what? Credit where credit's due. You did strike that old woman's head, and I respect that as well.
She kind of wouldn't, but yeah, so I know when to let something burn in the fire, all right?
Okay. I'm just making sure you're going to hold your nerve. That's all, Maltese. I can't be killing 2 people. I can't be doing all the killings myself, is what I'm saying. I need you to kind of pitch in every once in a while with the murder.
I'm sure the nice old lady next door will also help with the murder.
You really shouldn't say that to her. That's just my read on the situation. I could be wrong, but I think she would be grossly offended by what you just said. Also, I believe that she's attracted to you as well, but I'm not terribly good at gauging these sort of things.
Well, you know, who could blame her?
I think we gotta stop this scene there.
I'm
Just
wondering
let
how long
you
you
go
let
on.
that go. And then we pan through the wall.
We pan through the wall. Well,
And
we
I'm
already-
desperately trying to press up against the bed, just.
You're too late. Sounds like she's getting late already.
Damn, she works fast.
Must have been the bus boy.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna move away. We'll say that it's still the 30th. There's 31 days in August, right? Yeah, so there's still like another day in the month. Maybe it's the next day when we meet our other two agents for the first time. Maybe it's the 31st. And you all received this invitation on the 28th. But it takes some people longer than others. Let's check in with Agent Abandon and find out how she's arriving in Boston. What sort of means is she using to get there?
Well, she was all the way out in Chicago when she got the letter. So she knew that she had to try to pack either to find a last minute flight or do a road trip. And she's kind of felt some tension in her relationship recently. And I think that kind of led to her, for some reason, thinking it was a good idea to see if her husband wanted to take a road trip to Boston just for a few days. You know, we're heading up for a Tuesday, so maybe just spend the week, take some time, you know, I'll go to this one party and he'll do whatever he wants to do, go sightseeing or something. And so we'll leave as soon as we can and try to get there by the 31st.
What do you think was the selling point for him? What was the thing that closed the deal that convinced Dr. Samuel Myers to come with you to Boston? Was it the Cheers bar?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
I mean, it could be the historical relevancy of one of America's first colonies, you know.
Freedom Trail.
I mean,
Freedom Trail has a lot of
Sam
things.
Adams Brewery.
That fucking Sam Adams, or the bar that's across the street from that fucking grave site. It's just
Yeah,
the place where you can have a cold Sam Adams across the street from a cold Sam Adams.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was on the fence until
the boat duck tours or the duck tours.
Oh yeah. He was on the fence until he heard about the duck tours, and he wants to go on a duck boat. And so
I promised him, like, okay, let me do this one important work thing, and then we can go on some we can go on a boat tour.
So we find you on the turnpike on the 8090 crossing. Where I don't even know. Turk would know, but you're nearing Boston. And this is the first time it's really come up. He's driving, and he turns to you and says, "What's this? Why are you going to Boston? I mean, I know about the duck boats and the Cheers bar, but was there another reason?"
Honey, Boston's full of history, and you remember I'm a historian, right?
Of course I remember you're a historian, but I just, like, why now? Where'd this come from?
Conventions happen this time of year, conferences.
Oh, is there a conference this weekend?
Yeah.
Or this week?
Oh, no, not this weekend. It's really weird. It's on a Tuesday. They just had some really important updates, but they wanted people to be able to, do stuff during the work day, work week kind of stuff. Like, so you're still working even though you have to go to Boston.
But you're going to have time to go sightseeing with me, right?
Oh, absolutely. The main part is on that Tuesday. So you don't have to worry about anything else after that. I'll have plenty of time.
Okay, great. You pull up to. I'm imagining you booked a hotel in advance.
Yes, I sure hope so.
Like on Expedia.com or something like that.
Oh, whatever, like the booking.com, yeah, or something.
Right, yeah. And so you pull up there. And we get a good look at Abandon. What, for the sake of folks at home, what does Abandon look like? What's your general appearance?
Like very basically, just imagine disheveled historian. She has her hair almost always tied up in a knot with a claw clip, like barely holding on. Right now she's probably in more casual clothes, but probably like a pair of leggings and some like LL Bean toss over sweatshirt or something like that, because she's like, oh, it's Boston, like it'll be like nice and trendy and outdoorsy. But usually she is wearing like whenever she goes on a mission, she's dressed basically like she imagines the people in the CSI TV shows dress.
Got it.
One thing of note is that she does always wear her wedding ring on a chain around her neck instead of actually on her finger. So she probably is going to be fidgeting with that a lot. And yeah, other than that, she's just average, like nothing really of note.
I don't believe you, but okay. So you all settle into your hotel, with the intention of going to this activation, this briefing tomorrow. And we can deal with that when that comes. Is there anything that Abandon does in preparation for this?
So Abandon definitely is doing some research based off of just what she can see from the invitation. I don't know if she really knows just what to look for, still being kind of new. So she'd probably just be looking up the generics, and if her husband just happens to be looking over her shoulder at all, she'd just say, oh, I'm just looking up the restaurant that we're gonna all get drinks at after the conference, and every feigned attempt at an excuse whenever she can.
And I pass this on to you off stream, but the stuff that she learns is average, right? It's not anything like world shattering or something like that, but you learn about the Gateway Bridges restaurant, which is where this party is supposed to take place. Its address, it's in Boston. It's in the Dorchester neighborhood, which is incidentally near where the Stone Motel is. It's been there since the early 80s. It has 4 stars on Yelp. On Tuesdays, there's a buy one, get one free appetizer night. And it is owned and operated by a guy named Eduardo Diaz, who's 52 years old. So you're just looking all that stuff up. That's all pretty easy to find. And then you can sort of settle in. And what do you tell Samuel? Or is it Sam?
I'd probably call him Sam.
Yeah. What do you tell Sam about what you're doing tomorrow? Like what your plans are? What are the plans tomorrow for you? Because you're supposed to head right to this thing, right?
Yeah. Did you say there was a briefing beforehand as well? Should I be trying to meet up with?
You don't have. No, I mean, you don't have any the briefing that, as far as you know, as a Delta Green agent, this party date and time, which is September 1st, 8 p.m. That is your briefing from your handler. So that's all you know.
Well, if there's not really anything to do until 8 p.m., I'll still probably go around Boston and do some stuff separate from Sam. Just pretending that, I'm at an all-day event, tying together the whole story of why I'm up there in the first place. If it's really only for, a supposed birthday party at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense having made the drive. So I'd, tell him, there's plenty of stuff to do. I'd probably imagine I'm one of those types that would have everything really well researched ahead of time to give him like brochures and things to do, and go on a tangent about the Freedom Trail and all the different things he can see.
Very convincing cover. Yeah. And kind of a distraction. You're kind of distracting him a little bit, but he seems to take to it pretty well. But we still have one more agent to meet. And Cyberell, if this is cool with you, I think that our first encounter with Agent Maple is that Agent Maltese's burner phone rings. And that thing never rings.
The hell? Sorry, one second.
Is it a spam call?
You answer him anyway. Hello?
Hey, Maltese? It's me, your favorite gal, Maple.
Maple. Wait. Oh, Maple. I point towards my companion as if, of course, that would make sense to them as well. Maple, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm on a drive down to Boston.
Oh, is that so? You are driving to Boston.
Yeah, you know, because of the invitation and everything, or that stuff.
Right. Okay. Good. Do you need anyone to help pick you up anywhere?
Oh no, I'm driving there, so I'm perfectly fine. But I need to know where you got your boots put up.
Stone Motel. It's in South Boston.
All right, I'll be there in like. She's looking at her watch and she's driving. You're like, honking.
Are you sure you don't need someone? You can pull over somewhere, and I will drive to where you are.
Young man, I've been driving for so many years.
That's what I'm worried about.
I got it. I'll be there in like. Looking at her watch, you hear again with the honking. Be there like, wow.
Okay, just be careful.
So careful, they would make me a saint. Patron saint of carefulness.
I don't think they have that.
They should. It would be me on a little like what do they call those things on those like necklaces? Iconography. Little iconography of me, Maple. Be beautiful.
What the hell is going on?
All right, well, we'll just call us when you get here.
Will do. Bye, love. Click. Or
And
click.
What's the legal
I think this
age
is when we
to
get like
drive in
a
Boston?
full pull out to get our good look at Maple. Cyber, I need to know I need you to describe Maple, what she looks like for those of us, and what kind of cars she's driving, like what she does while she's driving, all that.
Okay, so Maple is also apologize for my mic. I'm trying to work on it. But Maple is an old black lady. She's got the supple skin of a 60-year-old woman. But in actuality, she's like 82.
Like, don't crack.
She's a chain smoker. Been smoking way longer than most of you have been alive. But she has like a curly hair and a little hair tie, or a little hairband on her. And always constantly wearing a warm sweater because she's old and her bones get cold.
Excellent. So she comes in smoking like a chimney, arrives at the motel. I'm guessing that Maple is so experienced with like interpreting things that she immediately like figures out like, oh, that truck over there is Maltese's.
She would have. Maple is an intelligence analyst, specifically for the NSA. So she has done background searches on just about everybody, so she knows everyone's plate numbers.
Excellent. So you figure out which room is theirs. Come knocking at the door. Knock, knock, knock.
Hey,
Which
open
door?
up.
Yours.
Yours.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. 1 second. I got it.
You do not answer that door. Do not answer that door.
I know who it is.
I do too.
Open it.
Do not answer that door.
I open it. I'm opening it. Hi. Hi, Maple. How are you?
So good to see you.
Oh,
Older black woman comes storming into your room.
Yeah, hug. Good to see you. You get here okay?
Oh yeah, I mean there was only like almost 2 accidents. Pretty good for me though.
What happened to patron saint of carefulness?
I mean, I didn't kill anybody, so
That's
Pretty
not the
much
standard
nothing
of
to me.
carefulness, Maple.
counts for something, doesn't it?
Yeah. Listen, we're actually full here, as you can see, because some fucking asshole used a villain point in the last episode. There's only one bed in this room, so
Oh, I'm not staying here, honeys. I got safe houses all over the area. I got one.
Oh.
Too.
That's fantastic news.
So I'm fine. I just wanted to stop in and say hi to my boy here, and she slaps him on the arm. You have to understand, Maltese here saved my bacon. See, I was in a building, one of those goddamn Hickman, paintings causing a ruckus, and it ends up carelessly with a cigarette and really set things on fire. The couple cans of kerosene, those help too. But he saved me from that fire, and God bless this boy. I have right here, in my wallet, close to my heart. I just keep. Look at him.
No.
Look at Mr. Saved my life, and I appreciate that.
No!
Magnolia is trying so hard not to laugh, just like Colin is right now, but this is in character as well. Wow, Maltese. I didn't know you was a model.
Oh man, those firemen, man, those calendars every year. I mean, God bless them. I buy it every year to help support them. They're not my type. I'm a card-carrying lesbian. Have been my entire life. But my boy Maltese here saved my life, so I always carry this with me in my heart.
There are so many other photos you could take or
That's
use.
fun.
I just love the principle, Maple, that like, yeah, I'm super gay, but when someone saves my life, I keep a picture of them shirtless near my boob sweat all the time. In my underboob all the time.
She's very selectively straight just for Maltese.
Amazing.
Wow, Maltese. I didn't realize you were such a hero.
Yeah. That was my exposure event, I guess you could say. From there, it's been just a sweet ride.
True, actually. See, MSL contacting Maltese is actually because of me. I saw his heroics and was like, we need somebody like this. We need a Maltese on the team.
I'm fairly certain that was smoke inhalation, but either way.
Oh god. Okay, I think that's a scene there.
My God.
And so it is it's about bedtime on the 30th. You still got a full day and a half, right? Oh no, it's the 31st, we said. So you still got daylight hours to burn. Is there anything else members of the team wish to do before you attend this birthday party
I want
for
to find out what the
Richard
fuck
Zaloni?
Margin is doing next door, moving all the fucking furniture around. We can hear it through the wall. Actually, this would be a good place because I've just made an executive decision that like I think there's Magnolia has respect for Maple as like, well, in a respect your elders, but also in a respect your superior agents, who've been doing this longer sort of way, but also just on a fundamental level just doesn't like her. So he just excuses himself to leave her to drool over Maltese, and then just goes next door and just kind of invites himself in.
Just opens the door.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. Let's do a little roll here. Liv, can you give me a luck roll?
Okay.
So if it's, we'll say that if it's under 50, you locked the door behind you. If it's over 50, you were just distracted and just forgot to lock it when you closed it after talking to Maltese.
Okay. That's a failure.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, you definitely left it unlocked.
Uh-huh.
You were doing a bunch of other things and moving furniture around. And so I think Magnolia just strides right in.
Okay, so at this point, we have wholly, entirely given up on trying to move the beds, and instead I have pushed the couch or chair or whatever as far over as I can. I have taken the desk chair and flipped it up on top of the desk, and now you see me probably actually removing that and then trying to move the desk. So I think that's where you catch Margin as she looks over, who I will also say is also an older Black woman, but is not, I think is younger than
82.
Yeah, not 82. Not 82. Like 40 something, late 40s.
Yeah, you probably saw her going in. She's in the next room over, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I don't think I saw anything. I was
okay.
focused. But yeah, I do stop and look, and I'm just awkwardly holding a desk chair the way that like you do, because desk chairs are not easy things to lift up and down. And I'm just holding that, and I'm like, did you knock? Could you knock?
I could, yeah.
Why didn't you?
I no longer wish to be in the room next door, so now I'm in your room.
There's a hallway.
Yep. You need help with something? You're like
Yes.
moving lots of stuff.
Yes. And I put the chair down. Can you move that bed?
No problem. Can I roll for this? I'm gonna fucking Hulk this bed.
Athletics, baby.
Straight up athletics.
Yeah.
Let's...
Unless you have like a special skill in interior design, which you took as a part
weirdly
of the
I
package.
do. Actually,
That is
yeah, isn't that weird?
weird.
Yeah, I
That's
took a
strange.
science in interior design.
There you go.
American flags everywhere. Okay.
I actually,
Live, laugh, love.
strangely,
Yeah.
only have a 50 in athletics, but that should be enough, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's enough.
There you go. I won't even
Any
spend
other
villain
fucker.
points to make you re-roll that.
Are you really gonna do that?
No,
You
no,
can do
no,
that to me?
I'm just kidding. No. What you just lift it up?
Yeah, I think he picks it up with such bizarre ease. And this is like a queen bed, like
Yeah, probably. It's
Yeah,
like
probably.
if it's a hotel, if it's a single,
It's like a
depending
small
if-
queen, right? They say it's a queen. It's a little bit small.
It's like a full.
Yeah.
I think it's distressing how easy he does this, and just like lifts the whole thing up, hoists it over his head, and is just like, without breaking a sweat, just where do you want it?
On its side against the wall.
Done.
So it takes up as least space possible.
Yeah,
So-
and he just very efficiently places it down.
Big
Cool.
empty
Now
space
what?
there in the middle of the floor now.
Good.
Goes to show they don't vacuum under there.
God, no. Okay, good. That's why anytime I go and I you see Margin pulls out a bag of like transportable cleaning supplies. There's like all-purpose cleaner, a little hand like vacuums thing, all that stuff, and puts that on the desk, but does not actually touch it, and instead just starts like pulling up that second piece of paper, looking at it and looking at the empty space, and just like, okay, good. And starts like pulling out her own laptop and starts opening up all these files and stuff, because I want to figure out what's going on. With this symbol, I do think like she ends up just sitting in the middle of this empty space and laying everything out around her.
Y'all remind me, did Maltese, did you find that layer underneath? I don't think you did.
No, only I did.
So this is Magnolia's first time seeing this for sure.
Yes.
That
Oh,
there is
so.
another piece of paper under that invitation.
Oh. Did you notice the thing where the invitation was in danger? Did
What?
Maltese notice that? If you look at the little, flip it over. I know you're looking at that. We'll talk about that. It says "Help me." If you look at the dots,
Oh.
yeah, Maltese noticed that. But what's your thing? All right, we didn't see that.
It is. Oh, it's an exemplar.
What?
It's a tactic that's used in forensic science. It's a phrase or a paragraph or a passage, if you will, that utilizes every single letter of the alphabet as well as all numbers 0 through 9. So you're able to use it to cross-reference and evaluate handwriting.
Oh, what's the gold thingy down there?
That I don't know. I'm trying to do research on that right now.
Is that an exemplar?
I don't believe so. But it is, I believe, an example of something fascinating.
Okay. You need me to move anything else? I can do that.
Could you put my bag away? It's just like sitting on the middle of the floor.
Nah, what else you got?
You're not very helpful. You asked for something.
I sure did, but I also reserve the right to refuse. Why did I just move your bed? Why do you need all this empty space? There's a perfectly good desk right there you could be working on. I put guns on mine, but you could put a computer on yours.
Why did you put your guns on the desk?
Well, because we only got the one bed, and I couldn't
We only have
rightly
one bed.
accidentally put it. Well, yeah, we only got.
I'm not going to ask
One
questions.
bed.
It's fine. It's 2015.
It's a stone motel.
You put your guns on the desk because that's how you work. This is how I work.
Where are you gonna sleep? I'm not gonna have to come back in here and put your bed back together, am I?
Probably.
Right. Well, I don't want to be in this room anymore either, so I think I'm just gonna stand in the hallway.
I told you should have stood in the hallway in the first place. And I just start typing away and start like digging through all of my research.
Have fun finding your examples or whatever. And he just like stands in the hallway. He doesn't even close the door behind him. He just kind of stands and just sort of waits for someone to leave one of these rooms.
What a weirdo.
You're a weirdo.
So anything else that we want to get done before the appointment, or should we go forward in time?
Me, Liv,
Snack
the
machine.
person, wants to summon a demon so badly, but it is only episode 2. We haven't even had break yet.
Thank you. Yes, pacing is important.
Pacing is important. I'm gonna get some Funyuns from the
Okay.
vending machine.
Roll me a luck check.
You got it. They better have fucking Funyuns. I'll be so mad if they're okay. Let's see. Look,
They're not going to have Funyuns, dog.
yo, they got Funyuns. Fuck you.
We got Funyuns.
Got a 41 under 50.
Mhm. So let's do a long, extended scene of Magnolia buying Funyuns from the vending machine.
I got the last bag. It must be my luck. It must be my lucky day, he says out loud to himself.
Fade to
He gets
black.
his Funyun.
Roll this for the boy.
And scene. That's our episode for this week. No, the next day comes, and you prepare in whatever way you see fit to attend this birthday party. You are invited. The invitation was for 8 p.m. at this address. It won't take you that long to get there from either or any of your locations. What time do you arrive?
8 a.m.
Wow.
Let's go.
I mean,
Let's
I was
out.
going to say
Check out the
something
chef. Can he be
punctual at
trusted?
least, right? Like,
Mhm.
What time's
I
it
feel
say
like-
on the invitation?
8 p.m.
PM. Oh, sorry, that was in character. Go ahead.
I don't know why I'm talking in character right now. 8 p.m. That's when. Yeah, well, you got to be on time. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're fired.
God. Spare me.
Would you say there's like a coffee shop nearby the restaurant by any chance?
There's a Dunkin'.
Dunkin', I figured. I was literally going to say Dunkin's totally fine.
There's a Dunkies. Yeah.
So, under the guise of the fact that I've told my husband that I will be at a conference all day, I choose a nondescript Dunkin' so that there's no way he's gonna like think it's like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's so Boston. There's nothing like this. and I'm gonna try to find the one that's closest to the restaurant and basically stake out there, use their Wi-Fi, and ignore all the dirty looks I'll probably get for being like the one person that doesn't just like grab their coffee and leave.
Right.
It's Boston. There's a Dunkin' on both sides of the street.
Yeah, there's
Right.
you probably have a choice of 3 that are equidistant.
Well, there's one.
I
there's
go
one-
to all 3 of them and figure out which one has the best vantage point of the restaurant.
Okay, there's one directly across the street from it.
Perfect.
There's another one inside that one. Just a smaller Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, you know what? So I will drink enough cups of coffee during the day to figure out which one has the best version of the coffee that I order.
Great. That does sound like a very abandoned thing. What time do you get there?
Honestly, probably 8 a.m. because I told my husband I'm going for a conference. I'm
Okay.
gonna be preparing.
So-
It's a long day.
You get some stuff done on your computer. You get bored now and then. There's little happening on this street. Now this restaurant, it backs up to a park. It's got a little stone wall behind it with bushes. And there's a park right behind it. There's other shops up and down the street on your side. Around 2 p.m., a man arrives at the restaurant. A middle-aged guy, possibly Hispanic, gets out of his car. He is wearing like a white collared shirt and black pants, and takes like a small bag out of the back seat of his car and goes inside. And then you don't see him again. No one else really comes or goes. You see some staff showing up, additional staff. And then at 7 p.m., a car pulls up. It's a Ford Escape. And it's almost exactly at 7. A man pulls up, and he steps out. He is an African-American man. Looks to have some gray in his goatee and around the sides of his head. He's balding on top. Could maybe peg him for being like 50s, 60s. What's that, Colin?
Except this man is played by LeVar Burton, from what you do.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'll have a picture for you in a little bit if you want. Actually, I'll do that right now. Why not? Anyways,
LeVar Burton.
yeah.
Okay.
Can you see that if I do it like that? In Roll20? No. All right. I will do it again. One moment. I put it in your stuffs. There we go. That's what you see. Getting out, and this man goes back to his trunk. Opens up his trunk and gets out a bag of his own. Make me a perception check. I guess alertness or search. Either one is fine.
You said alertness or search?
Yeah, either skill would be fine. Alertness is kind of like, are you paying attention? And search is like, you're looking very intently. It's kind of like the difference between perception and investigation in the white man's game.
Okay. Ooh, I did not pay attention. I've been here so much, and I've already drinking so many cups of coffee that I'm so wired that like I think I see things that I don't see, and it doesn't help.
Yeah, like he opens his trunk, and the only thing that you can tell is there's stuff in his trunk. And then you see him reach into his pocket and go to pull something out. But just as he pulls it out, like this local gaggle of teens bumps into you and spills your coffee all over your laptop.
Reaching for things all around, grabbing all of the Dunkin'
sorry.
napkins I've acquired throughout the day. Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
Mopping things off, and by the time you look up again, he's gone. You're assuming inside. That was about 7 p.m.
So is does it kind of seem like the restaurant's only open for the event tonight? And like,
It appears to be functionally open. There's lights on. There are multiple staff members moving around. You can see that it's kind of got what appears to be like a normal looking restaurant part in front, but you don't see that man. You don't see him, so he must be somewhere else inside the building.
I think I'm going to risk being the person that's fashionably early, if that's a thing. Just to kind of, like, I want to put in an order for the buy one, get one appetizers, make sure there's something ready for me when I leave the party at the end of the day. I want to make sure I do that before, like, it gets crowded and busy and kind of just scope the place out.
Okay, excellent, sweet. So what time do you head over exactly?
I'll give it a little bit of time and maybe do like 7:40, 7:45, just so it's not like embarrassing.
Okay, all right, that sounds great. And so you approach. There's like this terraced outside dining area. There's from what you can see, even as you approach, there's like a big dining room. And you open the door, and there is also another room apparently off to your right toward the back. And outside of that room, there is a sign that's put out. Appears to be handwritten in kind of like neon chalk, and it says "Private Function, Richard Zaloni Birthday."
I'll kind of do that thing where I like make the note like physically, like pointing at it and being like, right, okay, that's where I'm going, and then look to find like the hostess.
There is a hostess, and she comes up. She's sort of a younger woman with pulled back brown hair, and she's wearing like that classic like white top, black pants sort of thing that you have to wear at a restaurant. And she says, "Hi, just you, just one."
No, actually, gonna be a lot of people over there, it looks like. But I'm here for the event over there.
For the birthday party?
Yes, but I'm a little early, and I wanted to make sure. I know that I saw that you guys had really good appetizers, and I wanted to put it in order for the cheeseburger egg rolls and the calamari, but to go at the end of the day. Yeah.
Cheeseburger egg rolls, and what was the other one?
Calamari.
And you want that for the back room, for the birthday party room?
No, I want to take that to go afterwards. I just figured, it's so hectic with the party and everything.
How long do you think you're gonna be here?
What?
How long do you think? What time do you think you'll be leaving? I don't want it to get cold.
Oh yeah, of course. Maybe 9:30 or so.
Okay. No, I'll put it in the order and let them know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I think your friend is back there already. You can go back whenever you're ready.
Oh, perfect. I've been waiting to reunite with them. So, I'll meet back up with you guys at like 9:30ish for my food. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah, and there's a bar over there if you want to get something to drink. You can do that, but we'll have service in the back.
Perfect.
She goes back off. And so you're there. And I think it's probably not too much longer before the other four arrive. No one seems like the kind to be late to one of these things. So let's say that the Maltese mobile pulls up.
I'm driving.
Excellent. Magnolia driving, pulls up quickly, and like I get the feeling Magnolia like hits the brakes hard and like parks in the parking lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gets out.
Sudden stop.
And Cyber, I can't hear you, but mm-hmm. So we will be communicating through blinks and nods until we go to break, and then we'll figure something out. But I'm guessing that Maple arrives soon afterwards, and you all enter together. Mm-hmm. So you all walk in, and it is busy tonight for buy one get one free night. It's a Tuesday. And you don't get like seated right away, but you do see that sign, Richard Zaloni Birthday. And of course, there's this woman standing there, sort of hovering outside that door to the party room.
Are you talking about Lonnie here, or are you talking about?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know her?
No. Do you?
No.
Tease?
I-
You recognize her?
No, but could be handler.
Could be a
She
handler.
doesn't look like a handler. She does not look like a handler.
What's the handler supposed to look like?
Handlers look like all kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
It is 10 minutes to 7, or 10 minutes to 8, sorry.
Look, either way, we gotta get in that room. If she talks to us on the way in, well, maybe we figure it out, huh?
True.
Here, let's find out. Excuse me.
Not a very subtle guy, is he?
It's not his repertoire.
She literally just points at herself like,
Yes, ma'am. You. Hello.
yes.
Oh, pardon my rudeness. Are you here to celebrate the life and times of one Richard Zaloni?
Absolutely, I am. Are you here for that as well?
Yes, ma'am, I am. Are you a handler?
I don't suppose I know what you mean.
Right.
Well, you know what a
He's not
handler,
a handler.
is.
No, I'm.
Yeah, are you
I'm
just
trying
playing?
to. I'm trying to
playing
suss
them?
him out to be like,
Got it. Go ahead.
what
Go
are
ahead.
you? I was sent here by somebody.
Right.
Wasn't me who sent the invitation to anybody though.
Ah.
And she's kind of like looking around the room.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask to see your invitation.
Oh, you're the bouncer, and she'll go and kind of grab
ma'am,
her
I'm the
bouncer.
bouncer.
You know, usually the bouncer shows up before everyone else at the party, but yeah, here.
There it is.
Yeah.
Identical.
I'm not your peepaw's bouncer. All right. Well, she checks out.
Okay, then I think I'd walk over as well. Kind of try to get a vibe check, if you will, as the kids say. As I stand, I guess, kind of like behind Magnolia.
The doors are now open. The staff have opened the door to the party room.
Oh, then I'm going in.
And you can see that there is a long table. It seats, looks like up to 12 or so. And there are birthday decorations all around the room. And seated on one side of the table is that man whose picture you saw. It's the same person that you saw approaching that older black man. And he sort of stands up as you all walk in, and he wipes his hands on the pant leg of his pants, and says, "Oh, hello, welcome. Please come in, have a seat."
Thank you.
I sit
And
I'll
right
go
next
and
to him.
sit down.
Some of the staff is hanging around, and he says, "We won't need anything for a while. Maybe if you could come back in maybe 30 minutes to get food and drink orders." And
Sir, may I make one request?
yes,
Just a ginger ale. That's all.
he smiles and he looks at the waiter and says, "One ginger ale." And the waiter says, sure. Goes, and you all sit down, and like there's this long, awkward silence, waiting for the ginger ale to arrive. And then it
The
does.
service is terrible.
The service is
So
awful.
slow.
And the waiter gives you the ginger ale, then leaves the room, closes the door. He says,
Thank you.
"That's better. My name is Agent Exeter. I'm your handler for this mission. So, suppose we can just get right down to business, unless You have any questions to begin with? All right. That sounds good.
We had a
let's
hand
see.
over there, sir.
Yeah.
Not
So
interrupt.
you're,
Oh,
you're
I'm
not
sorry.
the so she's not the handler. You're the handler.
Also, no M.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of questions happening at once. No. Oh, Exeter. No. My agent name is Exeter. Yeah, handlers come from all over the place, but I understand that. Well, most of you are MCell, from my understanding. Yes.
I think we all are we not?
We all are, yes.
Agent Abandon reporting.
Oh, you fucked up. You're supposed to start with an M.
Yeah.
Do I know this guy?
I didn't choose my name.
Wait, was that Maple's voice coming through clearly just now?
It was. You don't know him.
One day figured out something.
Oh no, it's doing the thing again.
It's,
Damn it,
it's,
it didn't
it's,
make
it's
it.
super something on your computer. We'll figure it
It
out.
is your computer.
It's something computer related.
So,
yeah.
in answer to your question, you haven't. That's not super unusual. It's very rare that agents from different cells will cross paths. It is strange enough that you know Maltese. You know, but no, you haven't met him before. You don't think. And he invites you all to sit down. And he says, "All right, here is what we are looking at." Takes out a folder, a manila folder. Looks like there's some paperwork inside. And he says, here in Boston, in the Dorchester neighborhood, there is a facility known as the Dorchester House. Dorchester House was a lot of things over the years, but currently it is a psychiatric facility for care. They specialize in things like post-traumatic stress disorder, other things that result from being in public service, the military, things along those lines, people dealing with trauma. Now, what most of the public does not know is that Dorchester House has deep ties to Delta Green. It is a friendly organization, and oftentimes when we find agents that are in need of psychiatric care, they will be sent there for evaluation and rehabilitation. We have on record 3 agents that are currently committed to Dorchester House, but on the 28th of August, they all went missing. Keep in mind, this is a secure facility. There are orderlies, security cameras, key cards, all sorts of things. But somehow, these 3 Delta Green agents disappeared. We haven't told the police, but we're hoping that we won't have to. And if you all can find out what happened, then we can just sort of leave them out of things. I have some things to give you here, but the first one is probably the strangest. And he reaches into this folder, and I will give this to you. He says that on the day they went missing, after it was discovered, we found this on the wall of one of their rooms. Apparently, pieces of paper tacked up and writing in what appears to be blood. And all of you see this message. And for those of you at home, if you can't see it, the message says, "Abigail Wright has gone to sea. Cross the waves to rescue me. In a ship both tall and fine. She rounds the corner, marking time." It says, "We're not sure what it means, but Well, the name Abigail Wright stuck out to us. Yes, Magnolia.
This is actually Colin.
Yes, Colin.
Are as M-Cell agents, are we aware of the events of 1995?
You have heard stories. You know that this case in 1995, and I think the name Abigail Wright even maybe was a part of your knowledge. You know that that case was one that ended in not disaster, but pretty bad. It's often used in Delta Green trainings as an example of how things can go wrong.
Right, we talked about that like off screen, like during our session 0 for this. That
Right.
it's like that became a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's a
what happened
cautionary
in New York
tale.
City.
Other than the name Abigail Wright, there was some apartment building in New York City. That's all you're aware of. They don't get into the real details. And so it doesn't mean much to you when he continues with this explanation to say, before they were incarcerated, admitted, all three of these operatives came into contact with a book. It was believed to have unnatural properties to it. That's all we're willing to disclose at this time, because it's dangerous.
If it's
If I may,
dangerous,
sir.
shouldn't we know something about the book?
Because it's so dangerous that that's exactly the reason that you shouldn't know anything about the book. It goes by many different titles, but all the specifics beyond that are restricted by the group.
Knowledge is death.
Knowledge is death. You're not wrong. I've got a
yeah,
few more things. Hold on one second. Now, first of all, one more thing about that book. Any sort of encounter with it is to be reported right away. You understand?
Yes, sir.
A cursory glance at the name, the title, the author, anything strange like that. Don't go any deeper. Just let us know. And then he pulls something else out of his bag. It is something like large and clunky, and it takes you a second or two to realize that it's like a satellite phone of some kind. And here's a drawing of it. This guy in the picture is irrelevant, but it looks like this.
Oh, it's a brick.
Yeah, it's a brick, and he hands it to you. Who takes it?
I'll take it.
All right.
Seems
You
something in
take
my
it.
alley.
Mm-hmm. It's
You
this-
know exactly how to use one of these.
Mm-hmm. It's this large, old-looking sat phone. And he says that, now, if you should need anything to get in contact with the group, you should just dial *616 on this phone. And again, if you find this book and you would need to report it, anything else that's strange, if you need anything, that's your primary means of communication. The lead doctor, the person in charge of the Dorchester, is named Richard Dallin. Dallan. And I'm just going to give you his card here. And he slides a business card across the table. And leaves it there for anybody who wants to pick it up. He says, now Dr. Dallin is a friendly of Delta Green because he's helped so many agents over the years. He is aware of what you all are coming there to do, but nobody else on staff, no patients, only Dallin knows what you're there to do, all right? So he's aware, but for everything else, you'll need to keep your cover on.
Do you have a cover for us, sir?
Yes, I do. And he sort of takes out from that manila envelope, he takes out a series of like ID badges. And he says, "You all are Boston State Police officers. Now, I have to confess that these identities, they're not going to stand up over very close scrutiny. All right? So just use caution. Be smart about when you use them and when you don't. If you run into another state police officer, they're going to know right away. But most civilians won't."
Question, sir.
Yes.
The 3 agents that went missing,
Yes.
what cell were they from, sir?
Gosh, I'm trying to think if he would tell you this or not. It might be classified. Why don't you roll? Do you want to roll me a persuasion check? Because that loops in intimidation. Remember, and so all
Yes.
that falls under persuasion.
I don't think he would really be trying to intimidate here, because respect for authority and all that shit. Being a military boy, but he's just trying to get
His
the information.
general presence. Yeah.
He's got a 60 in persuade, so let's see what happens here.
Here's the roll. That's a 20
Success.
under 60. Very successful. He says, "V cell. V is in Victor."
I know where this is going. Okay. V cell, yes, sir.
Yes.
And if I may also, sir, it appears that you are from E cell. If I were to
At a time.
surmise. And it appears also that we have an agent here from A cell, which up until this moment I did not know existed, but always presumed did somewhere.
It is a little strange.
Is there a reason that you can disclose for the merger of all these cells at this moment, sir?
I cannot disclose that at this time.
Well,
I will say that it is due in part to the connections that M-Cell has with Abigail Wright. I cannot say why Delta Green brought Agent... Is it Abandon?
yes, that's right.
Your presence here is a mystery to me.
Same with me, I guess.
He slides a few more things over to you. He says, "Here is a list of the names of the people who've gone missing. Sort of hands it over. There it is for you. And actually, it's just 3. It's just the first 3. It's kind of a stand-in sort of thing. He says, "There you go. Tihau Kaldiasa and Lala Mac were the 3 people that have disappeared."
Are the other names, are we to ignore those like they're not actually there in the document?
Yeah, it's just like it could be different sizes for different groups, but it's just 3.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And he sort of gives that to you, and he says, "Now, when you arrive, they should be able to give you access to other rooms. Keep in mind, this is an active psychiatric facility, so there will be procedures in place about what you bring in, what you don't, how you interact with the patients as you investigate." Let me think. And he thinks to himself and says, "I think that's about it. Are there any questions from you?" I'll sort of like sit in that silence for a bit.
Yeah,
No one's
no,
gonna
I
ask.
don't have any questions. I'm off at my Mind Palace.
Sorry, what's with the help on the note?
The help with the note? What do you mean?
Yeah, on your letter, you dotted all
I-
the help me.
He,
Oh, is that what's on it? I noticed something was up with one of these, but I wasn't like, these eyes are kind of going.
he appears
Can't
confused.
smoke in here.
Not
She is
lit.
absolutely smoking in here.
It's totally lit.
Yeah.
It's not lit.
Just
Chewing on it. He is he appears confused. He's like, "You'll have to put that in plainer terms. I'm not sure what you mean."
Show him the thing.
Oh,
Maltese.
all right. Yeah, no, I
Take out the
pull it
invitation.
out of my pocket and
Mhm.
unfold it, and see, you dotted HELPME.
I mean, I didn't dot it. I mean, I didn't send you. This is obviously. I mean, this would have come from Delta Green. It's like I don't send out individual birthday invitations to activate you. That comes from the group.
Well, did your activation have a help me on it?
No, but again, we're sort of getting into sort of classified territory here of how I'm activated as your handler. I did not receive one of these.
Would I have any idea of like who might have sent these? No, who would normally send these for MCell? Or am I the one who actually normally sends these?
it would sometimes go through a division that you've had some passing connection with. Delta Green activates agents in a lot of different ways and disseminates information in a lot of different ways. Like MCell in the past has had, what have you had, like coupon flyers? You've had private mail. You've had stuff that just shows up on your desk. And so somebody within the group does these, but for the sake of security and secrecy, usually you don't know who. It's very hush-hush.
I can tell you it's not my handiwork.
Mm.
I can't do calligraphy that beautiful.
He says, it is pretty, isn't it? It's unusual.
Which actually brings up another point. And I'm going to slam... Let's see. I'm going to slam down the exemplar, but I think that the only person who would notice that it's ripped in a particular way would be Magnolia. I think the exemplar hits the table and it's I have ripped off that bottom section that would have the...
That sounds
Seal.
exactly like the kind of thing that Magnolia would notice and keep completely to himself.
Thank you, darling.
So you put down a portion of that writing exemplar onto the table, and he looks at it and says, now what's this?
This is attached to the back of mine.
Like just stuck on there? Or...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Get out the rest of your invitations. Did the rest of us get one of these?
Yeah, I want to see
Oh,
it.
Abandon's had hers out the entire. Like as soon as
Tried.
you point out the help me, she's like trying to look for all the things she must have missed.
I tried to-
Now, do
tried to-
you, do you have the person letter on the
I'm gonna try and
also?
peel mine. Yeah.
Yeah. You all are like picking at these things like lottery
Furiously
tickets.
picking it.
Yeah, yeah.
Maple will pass hers over to Maltese because it's finicky.
And also she can't be
You're
bothered.
strong. You can do this.
Uh-huh.
Gonna fuck up my
My
nails.
fingers can't.
He's looking at over all of them. He says, that is highly unorthodox. It could just be a coincidence of maybe recycling. Maybe they're trying to reuse paper. Would you like me to look into it?
Potentially. I've never heard of Delta Green having a, green initiative.
Well, it is a new century,
That's true.
millennium, all that.
Green is so concerned with climate change now in 2015.
It's
Well, you
green.
know.
It's Delta.
That is the
greenwashing.
greatest evil that Delta Green has to fight.
Exactly.
That's next.
And so
season.
as looking
He's been
all-
losing horribly to it.
as he's looking all these over, there's a knock on the door, and he sort of says, "Oh, you better take these," and he like slides them back to you. He says, "Yes, come in," and the waiters and waitresses come in, and take food and drink orders. They have water for everyone, and they start putting these napkins down in front of each one of you and setting the drinks on them. For most of you, not a problem. Live. You look down at these napkins and you realize that each one of them has the initials of this establishment embroidered, printed onto the napkins themselves. The initials, of course, being GBR, Gateway Bridges Restaurant.
GBR.
And you have a little flashback
Okay.
that back in 1995, there was something about GBR. And so what I need from you is I need an idea check, an intelligence check.
Okay. GBR. I'm so mad. I have like my other notebook in a different room. Okay. GBR. Intelligence. Okay, that's a success.
Ooh, very good. Excellent.
God.
You think back. And do you remember that at some point during the investigation of Abigail Wright's apartment, from what you've heard in your notes and things like that, they came across a drawing on a napkin. It was a drawing of some kind of machine. It was some sort of impossible blueprint from what you heard. And the only thing notable about these napkins was that they were printed with the initials GBR.
I also
And-
noted something.
Yeah.
Written in blue. It says Liao, like almost like it's Portuguese because there's a tilde on the A.
Right. And that was in that first case too. Remembering that one of the schematics was labeled Leão, which is Portuguese for lion. And the other was Escriba.
Right?
And upon remembering that from that case and seeing these napkins in person, when we get back from our break, you're going to make a sanity check for me.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to take our break. We're going to take a good 15 minutes here. We're going to figure out what's going on with the tech side of things. We're going to come back, and the squad is going to figure out what their first steps are in investigating the Dorchester house and the disappearance of these Delta Green agents. Don't go anywhere. We need you. We need you. Come back. We need you. We'll see you in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to Impossible Landscapes here on Lost Caravan RPG. I am Doc. I use he, she, or they pronouns. I am your handler, and our agents have received their briefing from Agent Exeter at the Gateway Bridges restaurant. But along the way, some weird stuff sort of jumped out at those agents who were more than passingly familiar with the case from 1995. Number one, Abigail Wright's name comes up in the writing on that photo of the wall of a psychiatric facility where these people supposedly disappeared from. Not only that, but these napkins here at the restaurant, which aren't from Exeter, these napkins here are the same napkins that the team in 1995 found stuck up on the wall with diagrams of weird and impossible machines on them. So that's weird, and I think that Margin is the one to realize. So, Liv, as you eat your delicious snack, please make me a sanity roll.
Thank you. I will finish my snack, I promise. Okay. Insanity roll. Ooh, success.
I mean, after a while, the weird thing after weird thing stops being so shocking. This is surprising,
Yeah.
but you don't lose any sanity.
It's odd, not weird.
It is odd and sort of strange, but one thing is sure that this is a definite match. Like, these are the same exact print of napkins, as far as you know.
I'm
So-
gonna sneak one away and put it in my pocket.
Great. 4 plates of appetizers come out to the table. There's calamari. There's What was the other thing you ordered? BLT rolls or something like
cheeseburger
that?
egg rolls or something
Cheeseburger
like
egg
that.
rolls?
Oh.
Sounds
Egg rolls,
amazing.
I think.
That's good.
Mhm.
I mean, I
And
just
you
chose
s-
the 2 appetizers I'd love to see on a menu right now. And it was just like, they have them. I've already decided. I looked at the menu. That's what I did research for.
Excellent. That's so good. I love that. I love that because that's what this group needs. Somebody who orders in advance before they get there. As this food comes in, anyone who's hungry is eating. Exeter stands up. He's got all his stuff in his bag and leaves you with a business card, a telephone, a list of names, a picture of weird writing, and says, all right, well, there you have it. I've got to get going. Please feel free to enjoy. I've left my credit card number with the folks in advance, so it's on behalf of Delta Green.
Sir, he says,
you.
as he like leans over his shoulder to a waiter and is like, well, I'll live a little. Shirley Temple, please. Sir, Agent, I'm just making sure I get the logistics straight on this sort of cell merger we're doing here. Is Agent Abandon, I think it was, is she M-Cell now?
I mean, I suppose she's on the case, so yeah, if you feel like she could be inducted into M-Cell, from what I understand, she's very effective. So
She stifles that little smile of like, I'm being noticed.
attention, praise.
Who,
So, yeah.
I
me?
guess we'll have to find you a new name then.
And again, that is something I leave in your capable hands. Thank you. And he goes to leave. Who's the closest one to the door?
Maltese would have probably let everyone else get seated first.
Yeah, see
and
what happened.
assuming
Such
they,
a polite boy.
and
Just
assuming
pulling out
that,
chairs left and right.
that the process of Magnolia sitting closest and perhaps people filling in there, you probably would have been the closest there. But
Okay.
I'm worried.
Well, I'd like Maltese then to make me an alertness check.
Yep. Oh, I'm actually okay at alertness. 8 out of 50.
Ooh, that is
Yeah,
very
boy.
good. Look at you, Mr. Alert.
I'm
Guess that
alert
comes
this
with a
time.
job. Yeah. Agent Exeter leaves, and as he leaves, you're left with 2 sensory impressions. What you do with them is up to you. Number 1, he smells a little bit like BO and motor oil.
Yeah.
And number 2, it might just be the paperwork that he's got in his bag, but as he leaves the room and walks out, you think you hear the sound of like rustling paper. And it's gone as soon as he's gone. The meal continues on. Do you all talk shop here? Do you wait for later? It
The
is
first thing
9
I
p.m.
do, is I wave one of the waiters down and I say, "We're gonna take one of everything, and then everybody's favorite drink. Don't care how expensive. I will take a glass of your most expensive wine. Thank you. And just keep everything
Right.
going."
All right, one moment. And the waiter goes and like you can feel the panic rising in the kitchen.
Oh, you've made an enemy of a chef today.
Well, we're
Okay,
gonna
we can
eat
order-
it all. Listen.
I mean,
We could,
listen, I'm an old lady. I ate like 3 hours ago and I'm good.
Yeah, but you could always use a drink.
I mean, yes, of course,
Yeah.
the drink. But like the food, I was gonna
The mini fridge isn't that big.
maybe eat 1 calamari ring, maybe 2. I mean, they remind me of pig anuses, and for some reason that just coggles my heart.
You-
No.
One of the waiters in the hallway says, "I'm sorry, did you want a pig anus? A plate of pig anuses for the table?"
I know, I got the calamari. It's good enough.
Sorry, what kind of restaurant is this exactly?
He's already gone.
Mediterranean. It's a Mediterranean restaurant. Like,
Oh.
will actually chirp
Mhm.
up in your
Point to me on the map of Italy where they serve pig anus.
Northern Italy, where there's more farmland.
How dare you answer that?
These are the
with
people
such
who protect
authority?
you from threats of the unknown.
Are we
Like
saying
I
we
said,
can order?
I went on everything on Delta Green.
Yes.
hmm
We can order
Recommend.
I wouldn't
whatever
say
we
Delta
want.
Green out loud, but
Takes drink orders from everyone. Drink orders going around the horn. Abandon. Go.
Gin and tonic.
Magnolia.
We can order anything.
anything.
2 Shirley Temples.
Whoa, slow down.
Damn, high rolling.
You know what? Just because it's a special occasion. 2 Shirley Temples, extra maraschino chairs.
There you go.
Very good, sir. We know that Margin orders the most expensive glass of wine they have. Maple, drink orders. Go.
Rum and Coke.
Excellent.
The cheapest rum they have.
Maltese.
It goes with
Uh,
the cigarette.
Brooklyn Brewery beer. Just got a can or something. But
Yeah,
you
we
got
got
it on
tall
tap.
boys.
Oh, I'll take a tall boy.
They go fulfill your drink orders.
Awesome.
Live
say
the most expensive glass of wine on the menu is Barefoot Wine.
Oh yes.
Glass out the ass.
Listen.
Served freshly out of a bag if you'd like. The
And
fancy one.
as the waiter delivers all your
Slap the bag at
drinks,
this place.
Are you fucking
says-
kidding me? Don't threaten me with a good time. I'm a retired sorority girl.
the waiter says, "And would you like the door open or closed? Open
Close.
or closed?" All right. He backs out and leaves you in privacy, as far as you know.
All right. Real quick, before we go any further, I feel like we missed an opportunity here. Why didn't we ask, who is Richard Zaloni?
That's actually something that during the Mikeless times for me, that I had actually wanted to ask is if Mabel could have looked up that name and possibly found any information.
Easily. With a little bit of computer work, you look at the name Richard Zaloni. Zaloni is the Polish word for green. That's
They're not
what you
that
find.
clever, are they? They're like a little clever, but not like super clever. They kind of just put green
Hey.
and triangles on things.
Honestly, you should have seen what the missives were like to start off with when we started in like the 70s, okay? At most, what we had on there was DG, just scribbled on top of it. DG invites you to, like, you know, a soiree. DG invites you to a barbecue, and that's it.
Isn't it called a night at the opera for a reason?
Yes.
Good point.
Did we ever get an answer,
They
by the
just
way?
need to be clever enough.
Well, that's my second question.
No, I mean the guy left and smells like he's about to head down to the racetrack and got the tickets to match.
What are you saying? What's he smell like?
Like he hasn't taken a shower. He's been betting on car races.
Well, he has been here for a while. Before even I showed up.
There's
Sorry,
that
what?
did you
lingering
show up?
smell in the room now that Maltese points it out.
Okay, can someone, when they come around, we should ask for a fan or something. Just circulate.
I mean, I can't smell anything. But to be fair, I don't think I've been able to smell anything for the last 10
Fairly-
years.
Yeah, and another reason to circulate. Again, I'm fairly certain you can't smoke.
Hey, these are menthols, all right? They're better.
It's still,
All right,
And
fine.
I'm
Fine, I'll
backing you up. I'm
cigarettes,
like
they're
taking a sip, and
menthols.
I'm like, it's not even lit.
Fine. You know what? I'm gonna put it out, and I'll just take one of my cloves out. All right?
Still not okay.
They smell better. They're better
Servant's
for
clear.
you.
I have nothing else to add here. You all do whatever you want, and let me know when you need to roll a dice or something. I'm
Well,
just gonna take a
can we
nap.
just circle back real quick to the whole? Is there another secret piece of paper stuck to the back of our invitations conversation we didn't finish having there?
Oh yeah, how'd the peeling of that one go for you, Maltese? Thanks for helping me out, darling.
I'm pretty good at peeling things.
Pretty good. Bananas,
That's a weird
Bananas.
talent, but okay.
potatoes,
Swimsuits.
Weird flex.
underpants, underpants.
But yeah, was I able to discover any additional
Anybody else have a Person letter, or just
I think that everybody else, like as you take turns picking this thing apart, it's quickly apparent that all of these letters are the same. They all have that writing exemplar within the back. They all have that Person seal in the bottom right corner. They all have "Help Me" in dots.
if they all have the Person seal, that means it's now obvious to everyone that Margin ripped hers off before she showed it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, wait. So these. That's a weird gold leaf in there. How have we not noticed that before on the back?
Well, I mean, these things are glued pretty well.
Yeah, the paper on the outside, both the back side of this paper and the top invitation, it's very thick. It's high quality paper, and it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to think that this is probably made by hand. This isn't like a thing that would be printed at a computer.
So this was purposefully done. They meant for us to have this.
Somebody wanted us to see it.
What does it mean?
Sorry, does Maple know that this is the seal of Person, or is this just Micro that, like...
You can make me an occult roll if you have occultism.
Sorry, not Micro. I forgot.
Margin.
Margin. Apologies,
Yeah.
listen,
Listen,
there's so
listen.
many M names.
I when
Above
I
the
referenced
It's with
table.
abandoned, so I'm unique and I'm remembered.
Okay.
Sorry,
When I referenced Colin earlier, it took everything in me to be like Magnolia, 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 and I still almost said the wrong name.
I know. I'm bouncing between you guys' older characters too.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so are we.
is Margin the only one that knows that?
Marge is the only one with any. Well, again, roll me occult. That's a skill, right? Yeah.
Yeah, occult is good. You're good.
Let's see if I even.
Making sure I'm not just.
Yeah,
I've
I
listened to a lot of Pathfinder.
Some
and-
occult.
No, I do the same thing. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I got a
roll,
success.
Excellent. Very good.
6 and 20.
Oh shit! You were
Yes. Maple also knows that Person is one of the many demons listed in the kind of demonomicons that came out of the Lesser Key of Solomon sort of series of books. There's a bunch of books that followed in its wake that listed these demons, and the number varies on how many there were, but like Person was one of them, Mephistopheles is on there, like all sorts of spooky names from back in the 1500s. And that they all
Weird.
have symbols and sigils, so that adds up.
Weird. It's like getting called out by one of your unwanted exes.
sorry. Do you
In
care
what
to
way?
define what that means?
I mean, just that, it's a seal of Person, a demon. Like, that usually doesn't bode well. Not entirely certain what it has to do with the help me,
Does the demon need help?
Maybe
potentially.
someone needs help from the demon.
We shouldn't really get into the habit of helping demons. It doesn't really work out well.
Sorry,
Unless they're very grateful afterwards.
are we pretending like demons exist?
What, you mean that you don't know they exist? They exist.
They definitely exist.
Maltese, would that actually be the weirdest thing that you've ever heard?
No, I just, I'm not really throwing one up for the Catholic Church to actually be able to slam dunk on a fact, all right?
Hey,
Listen, historically speaking, they've been incorrect about a couple of things.
got
A
a point
couple?
there. The point of the matter is like, there's a lot of entities out there, right? And they get names thrown at them, right? And these guys are the closest to what the Christian Church has deemed as demons. Now, are they actually that? Who knows? All I know is, in general, they ain't good to work with.
Right, which I suppose is why it's somewhat concerning that we all got invitations that had secret things on the back with demon seals on them.
I mean,
Oddly,
yeah.
Except yours, Margin. What happened there? Do you have an unfortunate accident?
No, I have no idea. I am very surprised actually to see this symbol, so.
Sorry, I looked at Turk's face for 1 second and I broke. But Margin wouldn't.
All right. Magnolia's just like, yep, that's bullshit. And then turns to Abandon. Right, so there's no good way to ask this, but I kind of ask it to everyone new I work with. What's your thing?
Thing?
Your thing. Like he points at Margin. I gather she's like real smart. That's her thing. She's like super smart. What's your thing?
History, books, trying to make a difference in the world. I'm not sure if I get it. Is that what you were looking for?
I mean, I don't know if it's what I'm looking for, but it sounds like that's what you're offering.
He means like a skill set, I assume.
Well, I'm a historian. I know research, I know books, I know history, I know a little bit about the occult, but again, most things that you can read in books. Been on a few missions, but probably not as much as all of you have seen so far.
I like hold my glass up to him like, oh, okay, so it sounds like you and I will work pretty close together. I'm more of an expert of the occult and some other things.
Oh.
Meg, she sounded more like a friendly, not a murder buddy.
Oh, I can handle myself with a gun if I need to.
Never mind.
She kind of like straightens up, like she's like, "How dare you?"
Well, that's. Have you killed anybody?
I've seen people be killed.
That wasn't
I've shot my gun.
the question I asked. Okay, so that's a no. I have to do this all on my own.
I took out that old lady with the mask, okay?
Yes.
I didn't hear you ask me about what my skill set is.
Well, that's because you're a legend.
Yeah, reputation precedes you there, Maple.
It's true. I got quite a reputation. I also can't fight worth shit. So you are on your own there.
Would I've heard of Maple in the past?
Yeah, I would say so. Probably.
Okay. I mean, my past isn't particularly
Right.
long with Delta Green, but
yeah,
if
well,
she is a
again,
legend.
Almost everything that Delta Green does is kept tightly wrapped. It's these secrets that we talked about in the prologue today, of mostly to keep people safe, right? But also your identities. Most agents don't know the real names and occupations of the other people, but you work with other people. So Maltese and Magnolia worked with Maury, and I'm guessing that Maury a long time ago probably worked with Maple too. And,
Yeah, we totally work together.
And like people tell stories. Oh, we had this one agent, Agent Maple. She's been around forever. So you probably heard her name before.
Maple would be the she'd be the one agent. Like there's probably a handful of them, but she's one of the few agents whose actual name is known by people. Because it was before they started like being really that covert. So like everyone knows more or less that she's Mary Ann Maple Johnson. So it's not really a secret. She's also super old and expecting to die one day, so she's like, fuck it.
But whether all of you know her real name is questionable. Maury probably did. But unfortunately, he had his spine ripped out.
Shame, he was a good guy.
And now we're going to spend the
great.
last hour of the stream watching a tribute video that we made for Agent. No, just kidding.
Actually, we're gonna just have
Was it
we can
only
have 45
like
minutes
10
of
minutes?
silence.
Maury was a good guy. If I had been straight, I would have married that man. But I'm not, so I never did.
I suppose it's only fitting then. Raise a glass to Maury.
To Maury.
To Maury.
He died as he lived, with
they
his
shook
spine
us up.
ripped out.
If only we could all live that uninhibited. The
All right,
spine flapping in the
be your
wind.
handler. What do you do about this case going forward? You got the new person. She needs a name. That'll come with time.
Right, so we need to get into a psychiatric place, and head doc knows where we're on board, but everyone
He's
else
expecting
doesn't.
you.
He's expecting us, so I don't know how 3 people just go up and missing without cameras catching them, right? So, how are we going to handle that? Like,
Well,
Miles and Sean?
well, we have a cover. I mean, the handler did give us a cover. I assume we have. Were we given like a dossier of that?
Yeah, you were given state police IDs.
Okay.
The names are for you to fill out. You can call yourself officer or whatever, trooper, blah, blah, blah. And Dallin is the only one who knows about Delta Green, Dr. Dallin. But it is, you can assume that it's probably known that 3 people are missing within the hospital, but everyone's keeping it kind of quiet.
There is one thing like there is one thing that I want to do then before we get there and, you know, incarcerate ourselves, is I would like to find the floor plan for the Dorchester house, because you did bring up a really good point. Those people were missing. There's cameras, so there's a possibility that there's, you know, old you know, entrances that people don't really know about. So it'd be
an
good
old
to get a
building,
floor
right?
plan. Yeah. So I guess that's gonna be a trip to City Hall for me in the morning, I think, if we're okay with an afternoon check-in to the psychiatric facility.
Fine by me. I'm not so sure about this cover, though. I mean, sorry, y'all, but I don't think it's horribly believable that I'm a Massachusetts State Police officer.
You're a transplant.
All right, you got to run interference for that one there for me, though, Maltese.
Oh, don't worry. Plenty of people from the South have to move up to Boston occasionally.
I'm just not very good at the accents.
You don't have to
I mean-
do an accent. Who does accents anymore? They're hokey. Just be yourself, and you say you moved up from, you know, Virginia. Go deeper than Virginia, right?
You're going to want to go way deeper than Virginia. That ain't the real South, boy. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
Georgia?
Anyway.
Georgia. You know what? I'm saying too much. Yes, Maple.
Sorry, for Maple, her ID isn't the state trooper thing, is it? Just because the advanced age. Like, I guess I work behind a desk.
Could be. It's up to you. Hey, it's your
Forensic
cover, it's not mine.
specialist or some shit. I don't know.
I'm gonna work behind it. I'm gonna have work behind a desk or something. Cause yeah, like I said, she's 82. Like, this woman should not be holding a gun or being trusted with a perp.
Yes.
It's the only gun I got.
Me.
Wait, Maple's the like, call an ambulance, but not for me.
I'm glad you brought that up. By the way, he like opens his like bag that he has with him. I actually brought guns for everybody.
Oh my god, he's got
I'm like as soon as he does that, I make sure the door is like the blinds are, like held closely together, just so no one's coming in.
Yeah. The door is actually just like a tiny bit ajar, so you like have to close it. And, yep.
Just to stand in front of it. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, so I figure y'all have no idea what you're doing, so I got 38 specials for everybody. It's not too much. Doesn't have a huge kick on it. Only 6 shooters, pretty small, concealable. Should work for everyone. So here you go. Take your favorite color. I got a few different ones here with different pistol grips on them. So
I
Just,
appreciate that, but I'm gonna go without. I'm gonna stick with the knife I have in my garter, because otherwise, like, yeah, you really want this holding a gun?
that's a very
Isn't-
sound point.
Is a medium
Yeah.
pistol concealable? I forgot if it was.
That's a good question. What do you say, Turk? What do you say?
Let me consult my tome.
I think it would be difficult with a medium.
Now, medium pistol. Expenses standard. Doesn't mention concealability needing a check.
I would say if you do try to conceal it, it definitely needs a check, and it'd probably be at -10. It'd be
Okay.
harder than usual.
Okay. Because I was thinking I'd have a briefcase with me and kind of put it on the table and do the dramatic click click, open up, and
Briefcase would be a good way to do it.
Just
Yeah.
flexing.
and politely reject the just free guns that are being passed out because I already got my own. If you don't
What kind of
mind,
gun does she have? You want
I don't know guns. It just says medium pistol.
to? All right. Hey, what Turk?
HKU.
40 S&W.
Sure.
Something
45 ACP Beretta mod at 92 F.
Could you write that
That's a-
down for
That's
me?
a big gun. That's a 45.
It's
That's a big gun.
It's in a briefcase, I assume. I don't know, unless you want
I mean, in
to.
terms of it's large, I mean, it's going to kick like a horse, is what I'm saying.
It's a medium pistol, according to them.
This is the gun she's practiced with. She's okay. She
When's
can
the last
handle
time
her
you-
own
And also, she
business.
looks really cool holding it.
Exactly.
And 45, 40 kills the soul, 40 kills the body, but 45 kills the soul.
Wow.
You can't have them coming back up.
I mean, honestly, 45 sounds like a good thing to have when we're dealing with paranormal things.
Mm.
Make sure it's not just a body kill, but whatever's. If they have a soul, it's one.
in there.
He like
Um,
holds his hand
I
out.
can have their guns, or
Yeah, you want one? Go ahead. What's your favorite color?
well, I mean, but can I have all? Like, can I have 3? Because they're not taking one.
Absolutely not.
Why?
You only have 2 hands.
Can I have 2?
Oh, one
No.
in my mouth.
Why not?
I barely trust you with one.
Hold it like that one anime character. Put it in your mouth.
Yeah. Use my tongue to pull the trigger. Ha! Eat your heart out, Zorro.
If you can convince me that you can be trusted with 2 pistols, I will give you 2 pistols. Tell me why I should give you 2 pistols.
First of all, I am a grown woman. Thank you.
Uh huh. Carry on.
Secondly,
Is that your whole argument?
I just don't appreciate being bossed around by you. Second, or attempted to be bossed around by you. And secondly, I fired a gun before.
You fired a gun before,
Multiple times, yes.
and that's why you should now go akimbo with 38 specials. Because you fired a gun at a point in the past.
I'm just saying it's not like it's my first time around a gun, okay?
Your credentials are extensive and well put. Here's 2 pistols.
Thank you!
Somebody tries to
Going
come in the
regret
door.
that decision.
No, excuse me. Sorry, one sec. We're having a moment. I take the gun and tuck it in really quick.
Okay.
Just give us a second. It's emotional. God, you got tears in here. Just please.
I'm so old, and I have feelings that just well up at all times. It's just-
Like
it's
five-
too much.
I don't know. Like check your stations or something.
Come back later. I'm having a moment.
You take a peek outside, and the real horror presents itself. It's the dessert cart.
No.
You know? And they
No,
want to know
it's
if you
gone.
saved room for dessert.
We ate so much.
I look back. Does anyone have room for cake?
Smash cut. End of scene. The next day
Sorry.
arrives.
I pick up
Yeah.
my appetizers and bring them back to my husband. At the end.
Yes. Forgot about the appetizers.
I
And
need
they
that.
are
That needs to happen.
cold. They're not even lukewarm.
I know. I thought 9:30. I didn't realize how long we'd be comparing gun sizes.
No, that's okay. This, I love spring rolls, and and the calamari looks good, but I'm not really hungry.
Well, I'll put them in the mini fridge if you calamari and spring rolls or egg rolls are notoriously good for keeping up, even after they've been refrigerated, right?
So well.
I'm
And
not sure
she'll-
about these.
she'll just be like already putting them in the fridge,
Mhm.
kind of going to go like shuffle into the bathroom to brush her teeth, and just kind of like saying that over her shoulder.
Yeah, thanks. Did you? Was the conference good?
Yeah, learned a lot.
Oh, good. Like what?
She's gonna start brushing her teeth and start like saying nonsense under.
Excellent. No roll necessary. That's fantastic. He says, "All right. I'm gonna get to sleep. Okay, hon?
Yeah, good night.
Yeah. Good night." Next day comes. We see Maple at the just stride into the county clerk's office, and at the records department. Roll me a bureaucracy check
Okay.
to see what you come up with for blueprints.
A success.
Fantastic. I'm going to spend a villain point to make you roll it again. Because I have those and I haven't used them.
You beautiful bastard.
And you got a great,
A
so that's
critical
success. See? Fantastic. That means not only do you get the blueprints for this, you get a little bit of a historical summary of the building itself when it comes back to you. Not sure why they would be keeping historical summaries, but they are. And here is what you learn. The Dorchester House was built in 1912. Started as a Catholic boys' school, and then it closed in 1944 for a while, and reopened in 1955, and was renamed the Clam Point Gymnasium. In 1966, it closed. And for a while, it was a public recreation center called the Dorchester House School, but then closed in 1969, so about 3 years or so. In 1986, it was purchased and turned into the Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility. That was 1986, and you get this full set of blueprints. It looks like, from just a passing glance, what you can get is it's an E-shaped building, right? So it has like a main hall and then has 3 wings that sort of like stretch off like a capital letter E. It is surrounded by a wrought iron fence, a security fence. You can tell that the doors and windows are all security based. So like the doors are probably heavy steel doors. The windows are double enforced. And you also see the places where they would have security cameras marked. It appears that this is a recent, it's a recent blueprint. It came within the past 10 years or so, when they added some things and made some improvements. And it looks like a very secure building.
All right, good to know.
That's what you learn. It is the 1st of September. No, the 2nd of September now. It's the 2nd. When do you all meet up?
I mean, I did say the afternoon.
I guess the really important question is, did everyone give Abandon their phone numbers so she can text them and stuff?
How?
You would have gotten Mabel's big old massive, her number for her big old massive Palm Pilot.
Okay. But so you text on it, but just write like okay or like 2 p.m.
Right.
It's all in shorthand.
Another thing I'd like to know, just as I'm trying to keep in mind these things, who is anyone holding on to the evidence and to the satellite phone?
I will.
Okay,
I have the sat phone.
You have the sat phone?
Okay.
Okay.
Also, Maple can have it too, either way.
But there's evidence. Do you want the evidence margin? Or
Yeah, I'll take the.
The picture,
Well, I already-
the
I
list of
snuck my-
names.
Yeah, I snuck myself the napkin. I'll take the picture and the list of names.
Okay. Dallin's business card.
I have it.
Maple's got it. Okay. All right. Just making sure you got all the stuff. And it gets to be, what was it, 2 p.m.? Is that what we said?
Oh, is there anything of note on the card now that we know that things have been weird, like
Business
our
card?
invitations?
It is
So-
in your journal. The business card, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in your journal as Dallin business card, and you can take a look at it and ask whatever you'd like.
Okay.
Sometimes things become possible if you want them bad.
Who is that quote by? Is it by Dallin?
Let's see here. Do you have any art skills?
Oh, that's cute. No.
Do you how about then do you have computer skills?
I believe I do. Yes, I have computer science.
Okay, cool. In that case, where is the roll? Yeah, make me a Google roll.
Okay, let's Google.
I love being in the modern setting.
What'd you do? Es succès. It's a quote from T.S. Eliot. One of the
I thought you
poet.
were going to say TLC. For the
It's a
brief
quote from
moment I thought-
TLC. The next line is "Don't go chasing waterfalls."
It's a good
No,
song.
it's from T.S. Eliot, who is not in TSC as far as we know.
I just checked. The website isn't real, unlike Demon Web 101.
I know, isn't that disappointing? I
No.
did too. But would you like to check the website for the building? Well, I guess Magnolia probably wouldn't, huh?
But I would.
Okay.
I was
It's,
looking at the card and doing Google search anyways.
it's sdhpf.com. Something Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility, right?
Yeah, it could be in South Dorchester.
Yep. You look up, there's a lot of the stuff you already knew from the blueprints. It does have a staff page on it. So you can go looking through. You see a lot of pictures of folks. You have orderlies and you have nurses. There is one person who's listed as, where's my list? Here we go. Who's listed as like security and technology, both together. The only doctor listed is Dr. Richard F. Dallin.
Huh. It's not a lot.
It's not.
Okay.
And that's basically what you got. And it gives you this look. You also learn that it's 3 stories tall. There are 3 floors to the psychiatric facility. And it's you get the impression that there are different levels of security per floor. So like you don't know, it doesn't say anything more than that, but it seems like they definitely focus on treatment for post-traumatic type of things.
Maple will have like printed out the list of the facility, the people who work for the facility.
I can make a
put it
list
out.
for you.
Yeah, she'd print them all out, like a list for everybody, and hand it over to them and be like, all right, here you go. Here's some names to kind of like remember as many as you can, kind of thing, since we can't really go in with much.
She hands this list out to everyone. Dr. Dallin's name is the first one on there. There is a nurse named Esther Samagina. There's a bunch of orderlies. It goes on. Well, do you want to proceed to there, or is there something else you want to do?
I think so. Very, very privately, the very sort of thing that Magnolia would absolutely not tell anybody about. He is on a very deep level not looking forward to this at all. He doesn't particularly relish the thought of going to a place that is for veterans with PTSD for reasons. And I think he just because I love picturing that him and Maltese, since they're sharing a room and apparently a bed, they're sleeping head to foot, by the way, in case anyone's curious. He I saw that. He just gets up to take a piss in the middle of the night and sits on the toilet in the bathroom with his cell phone out, just looking up stuff about this facility to see the kind of people it treats, because he's literally wondering do I know anybody in here?
Sure. And you get a lot of that information. Naturally, they wouldn't list names.
Right, of course, yeah.
Of course, but but as you continue to look it over, you get the same sort of thing where it specializes in psychotic behavior that stems from PTSD, and it appears to be actually does Magnolia have any computer skills at all?
What do you mean? I mean, he's working Google on his phone right now.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and just everything you can see from there. There's one or two Google ratings of it. They rate places on Google Maps and stuff like that, and they seem very positive. Oh, my cousin was in here after he came back from Afghanistan, and
so that's the kind of thing I mean. Not that he's obviously he can't find specific names, but it's right. Is it a lot of Iraq vets or
just from the tiny little bit of information you get? It does seem like there's a lot of vets,
younger vets, more his age group.
That you can't tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't sleep very much that night. And I think when he does, Maltese, you would know that I doubt if you've ever slept next to Magnolia before on previous missions.
Despite what fan fiction exists.
Right, yeah. Despite what all you fucking fiends out there want. He has nightmares. He has nightmares the entire night. And thrashes and bolts up in cold sweats and mumbles and occasionally screams all night.
Which is going to be something Maltese absolutely just kind of bears with, but will eventually just concede the full bed to, taking a blanket onto the ground. Not blanket, pillow.
Oh, those boys are louder than I expected them to be. My goodness.
You are part of the problem.
Maybe you're the
I will gladly
solution.
be a problem.
Nice. Okay, so daytime has come.
I have an important thing that I'm certain will not derail anything at all that I would love to do if I
think now is the perfect time to do that thing.
Is it called The Boys?
No, well, I'm gonna do something. I get up early in the morning because it is September 2nd, correct?
It is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2015.
2015. Okay. Well, I am getting in my car. Oh no. Okay. I'm getting in my car. Sorry to look something up, and it's even better than I thought it would be. And I am going to drive northwest from South Boston towards Fenway Kenmore. And as dawn is breaking, I would like to sneak up onto the teammate statue that is at the entrance of Fenway Park. I am going to put a Mets cap on one of them, and I'm going to take perhaps a bit ahead. It's 2015, so I will take a selfie, and I am sending it to the boys.
Roll me a luck check.
Oh no. Okay. I
You're gonna get your ass beat.
it's worth it. 4 out of 50.
Hey, do it for the boys.
The boys.
You are able to
Boys.
do this unmolested.
I figure as soon as I mentioned going to Boston, I was given a challenge to make this happen, and I absolutely do. And I'll have it noted that the Red Sox do lose 13-8 to whom? The Yankees. That'll be
We
later
just very
today.
quickly all role play what the boys' responses is because I think we all know what it was. I believe.
Number one, can we make one thing clear? There are no lowercase letters among them.
Absolutely, it's just. Oh!
Yeah.
You're the best! Yeah!
Eggplant.
Eggplant sweat.
Not eggplant sweat.
But I then
Look at your
also,
thumb.
Pick on Tommy.
but I also then go pick up some coffee and stuff for people, and of course, I mean, it's Dunkin', so you gotta get the
Munchkins.
munchkin.
Yeah,
of
you gotta get
course.
munchkins. Yeah, for sure.
The variety pack. 'Cause if you only get one kind of munchkin, you're kind of a monster.
Let's say most of them are powdered sugar, but
I
then
mean, they
you
always are. They're
Yeah.
trying to get rid of those things.
bring back. And where do you bring them to the hotel?
No,
Oh, you
yeah.
guys are talking about
Holiday
Timbits.
Inn.
Okay, I get it now.
I'm sorry, dissecting that later. But you're
Who's
wrong.
bits?
Timbits.
I don't want everyone's.
Who knew that this would be the thing that derails us?
Anyway,
Sorry.
Canadians aside, far
Technically
aside,
Canadian.
you're still wrong. Either way, but I do make sure there's a box of Joe and
Nice.
some munchkins for everybody when they wake up.
Great. Just a quick yes or no. Magnolia, coffee and donuts.
Yeah, and I think when Maltese gets back, Magnolia is up. He is showered. He is dressed. He looks impeccable, and well, in his own way, and he acknowledges absolutely nothing about anything that happened last night.
Of
Including the fact
repression.
that your pillow
Healthy.
is like still on the floor. Yeah,
Mhm.
because he is not subject to any toxic masculinity whatsoever.
Certainly not.
All right. You go knocking on Margin's door. Margin, coffee and donuts.
Absolutely. Yes,
Did you
please.
sleep on it? Did I have to come back and put your fucking bed back in place?
Oh,
So
I made a pile on the floor. I made do.
it's a little nest.
Yeah.
It's a little nest, little Margin nest. So is the plan? Clear this up for me. Is the plan to meet at the place at 2 or at the motel at 2? Yeah, it's up to you guys. You just tell me.
I think motel would be better.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
That's where the majority of
So-
you guys are too, for one thing.
Maple and
We got
Abandon arrive, and which room are you in? I'm guessing the room that doesn't have the bed weirdly shoved up against the wall. Although if you want to do that, there'd be more space. Not everybody all at once.
I thought you were talking to Abandon. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm talking to everybody.
Oh,
And they show up. Abandon, Maple show up. And whose room are you meeting in?
I just assumed someone would send me a text message with I don't know which 2 rooms you both are in, so
I think we're all
just-
together, and then I look around and I'm like, oh god, where's the new girl?
Maple texted you. You know where to go.
Okay.
Maple's used to this. That's her job. And she's like, here's your information.
And the one thing that crosses Abandon's mind is, for an older lady, but she's got pretty strong text game. I'm used to getting texts from like my grandparents that are like no punctuation and they sign it at the end like love Mimo. But no, Maple's pretty hip. She's got emojis in there.
Yep.
Jeez.
It's a hotel symbol, basically a hotel, and then the room number and time. And that's it.
So you're all in the boys' room, standing around.
Oh, boys.
Who takes the lead
Ah,
here?
boys.
Right. Well, we ran out of Joe, so if anyone wants more, we got to run to the Dunks down the street.
Excuse me, where was my wake up call with the Joe and Munchkins?
I was taking a drive up to Fenway, so I didn't really do wake-up calls.
You already made the drive. You could have just stopped by my hotel too. You're already in your car.
Being very mean to me right now. I got dunks for people.
Yeah, not me.
Well,
To be fair, you did show up when I showed up, which is late.
This is when you told me to show up.
Well, I mean, I didn't know they were gonna be having. I didn't know they were gonna be having dunks in the morning. Okay, I was kind of busy.
We're
you
in
know,
Boston.
check it out.
Maple. Come on, what are you supposed to have? Tates?
I mean, I'm used to Timbits. Okay, I'm up in Buffalo. We're right up against the Canadians, and Tim Hortons makes some good coffee.
I'm gonna give you some leeway here because
How often do I come to
you
Boston?
are from New York, and that is a good state to be in. But if you say Tim Hortons is good coffee in my presence again, I will think less of you.
Listen, all I've got in my area, all I've got specifically in my area, okay, is a freaking Starbucks. All right, and I might as well go lick I might as well go lick their ceiling fans. That's how good their coffee is.
The one thing we all agree on is fuck Starbucks.
It's okay. I like an American.
So I go across the border sometime for a Timmy's, all right? Cut me some slack.
Anyway, I can go run and get a box, but I don't think that's the big point right now.
We can get one on the way.
I probably grabbed coffee at like a local Boston coffee shop with my husband in the morning. I don't say that actually, but obviously.
Right,
In my
so
brain, I'm probably
investigating
like, yeah, I'm
supernatural
actually
occurrences. Anyone want to do that? Disappearances of agents, Or are we
I
just
mean, to
gonna
be
go
fair,
on about coffee until we name this one over
Coffee
here Agent Munchkin?
To be fair, are any of us really looking forward to putting ourselves into a psychiatric facility? Okay, I've been in one of those once. It wasn't
We're not putting
fun.
ourselves in. We're just investigating it.
So you say.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
with
think we're
Maple
going
though.
to get
It
our
does
heads shot.
feel a little odd.
All right, then I'll be the one to talk primarily at the psychiatric facility. The rest of you can go look up histories about people I text you about who I find it there, if that's what you're also spooked about.
You're trying to go in there alone?
You can't go in
It's
there
a
alone.
psych house with a friendly in it. What am I supposed to be afraid of?
Every single horror movie in the past, 7 decades.
Oh, please.
Valid. Well, one thing, I'm never letting you go anywhere alone, Maltese, so I'm going with you, even if I ain't gonna like it.
Oh, you two are so sweet.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, I thought, okay, yeah, incredible.
It's because he'll get killed. Jesus
It's
Christ.
a new world. It's 2015.
Hey,
It's
me and my
doable.
partner, we were together for 30 years. She was a beautiful woman.
Can we please?
Can we please
But-
what?
I am going to.
So the
The-
boys are going to check out the psych ward together. Lovely. Ladies, what should we do?
Well, I mean, we should all go for the investigation part. It's just, like I said, I'm just leery because, like I said, I've been in one of these before as an inmate, and it wasn't fun. So, pardon me if I got a little bit of PTSD about it.
I'm not sure if I should laugh.
It's a
Wait,
joke.
like this-
Y'all, all of you,
As soon as
all
we
you
see
young people
Magnolia
are,
react, we're like, ooh.
all you young
This is
people are
very
way
short.
too. All of you young people are way too PC.
Goodness.
Listen, it's not like we have to admit ourselves, right? We're just going in for a few hours. We can leave. We can go back in if we have to ask more questions. We just hop in for a little while, see what we can see, figure out what we need to do back on the outside.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'll stop being a naysayer. I'm just being silly. It's around the time I normally would take a nap during the day, and I'm a black woman about to walk into a psychiatric facility. So, pardon me for being a little on the.
No, that's fair. That's so fair. Yes.
You get it.
I get it. I get it.
You're well within your rights to do absolutely nothing if you choose to.
Well, that's the fun of going on the investigation then.
I mean, I wasn't aware these things were designed to be fun, Margin.
I mean, they can be. The ones in the 70s. Man, take some LSD.
I'm
the
sorry. Let's
Some
just
of the
back
horrible
up.
things. Some of the horrible things you see while you're on LSD. Sometimes it ain't so bad.
Did you actually go on missions for Delta Green in the 70s, or were you just tripping balls for the entire decade?
Well, okay. To be fair, the 70s are a little bit of a blur, so I don't remember if I actually did. The 80s, I do remember those days, and I was in fact in the field at the time.
And the cocaine was choice. Right, so...
Hey, never the cocaine, only the acid.
Again, with the hallucinant...
Only the party
all right.
ones. Only the party ones.
You're a good time. You was
Hey.
fun.
Listen, you do acid like 3 times, and you're tripping on it for the next 15 years. Every once in a while, I see mice running across the, field of vision. So, like,
Okay.
Oh no, in this motel there
More-
are actually mice.
more bang for your buck versus cocaine. You gotta keep putting money into that shit.
Every time I am called for another mission, I am amazed at the quality of talent that Delta Green manages to assemble. And here I am again with a crack team. Oh dear, am I saying this out loud? This is meant to stay inside a thought bubble.
Hey.
Can we leave?
I mean, crack's a pretty strong drug. Don't want to do
We're
that.
gonna get in the car. All right. So we got
I'm
at
driving.
least 3. We got you. You can drive someone else's car.
You can drive my car, honey.
What is this about? I do not want to drive your car.
I
Fine.
want to drive my
God.
car.
You know what? No. You know what? That's fine. You take
Abandon,
my
what do you
car.
drive?
Well, I drive a Ford.
I
Ugh,
I just
I'm
realized that
road dead.
I think that Abandon would have gotten a rental car for this.
Oh,
So
that
the
makes
license
sense.
plate doesn't reflect where she's like 100% from.
That makes sense.
All right.
You have a
Abandon,
rental.
fine with
It's
you.
it's a Kia Sorento.
Of course.
Of course.
Foreign made. Ugh.
Hey, there was a time the only time I ever rented a car by myself, it was at such a small airport that they gave me a brand new Dodge Charger.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
I was just like revving this crazy engine all week. I paid for a 4-door economy sedan and they gave me a Dodge Charger. I did not bat an eye at that.
It's
Well,
quality. of
this
person.
time you get a Kia Sorento.
That's fine. That's probably what I expected to get in person.
You can drive my car. I'll ride in the back. But Maple, you are riding with him.
I mean, what? I gotta leave my truck behind then?
I can drive your car.
Yeah. How about you drive? Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Margin? You and I, we'll just go together. You can drive,
Sure,
and
we'll go together.
you can
Yeah.
drive, and that way I can take my nap.
There you go.
Perfect. We're already a great team.
I would like to remind everybody that Margin has lived in New York for at least 10 years. Probably hasn't driven through New York City in a minute. But hey,
Ah, yes.
gonna keep that to myself.
All right.
Oh.
Abandon,
Two
I'll go with
cars.
you. I want to talk to you anyway.
3. Yeah, 2 cars. Depending on what's Abandon doing.
Come on, girls ride. Girls
All
trip.
right.
Right.
What-
No.
what- what's
I was
what-
convinced-
What's
I was
Agent
trying to
Middle
convince
Seat gonna
Abandon
do?
To drive me.
Agent Middlesea, Agent Munchkin. I'm loving them. I'm just waiting for one of them to accidentally stick, and it's like, oh man, I'm
It'll
Agent
happen.
Middlesea.
Agent Mouse.
Am I just one of your hallucinations?
Maybe.
Listen, I looked at you out of the corner of my eye, and I could have sworn you had mouse ears and whiskers. And
Agent
honestly, it wasn't a bad
Manifestation.
look. Ooh, manifestation. I like that.
Flashback.
This makes sense why an A agent is with M-Cell, because it's just some crazy thing that Maple thought up when she was sending out the invitations.
Unreal.
I'm not entirely certain any of you guys are actually real.
Oh, I feel that way all the time.
I mean, to be fair, I could be on my deathbed right now. This is just all that horrible dream right before the end. And honestly, you know what? I see Maltese before the end. This ain't a bad way to go.
Oh Christ.
Face of an angel.
I mean, you
Well,
always
that's
have him.
what I
You
say.
always have him right here.
All right.
Yeah,
so
right. I got him right here, close to my heart.
Who's in what car?
Oh, that's right. The other two didn't get to see. Yeah, check it out.
Oh!
Look at him.
Hey.
Just sweet boy.
Who's in
that's
what
my-
car?
That's what
The girls
ride,
like,
boys
just,
ride,
like,
right?
physically pushing Abandon toward the door, like, please get me out of here.
Mhm. So Magnolia, Abandon. Are we in one car together? Is that what we're doing?
I think.
Who's in what car?
I
I
think
think,
it
doesn't
I think the genders are separated. Two
Yeah.
genders, two cars.
Boys car, girls car, or presenting mask car, femme car.
Mask car, femme car.
And
Oh,
so,
I was abandoned because I wanted to talk
Actually,
about
mask car sounds like some horrible ripoff of NASCAR.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Um,
no. I don't want to be a NASCAR. I want to be a NASCAR. I want to go fast.
So
Anyway,
Do you
both
want me? Do you want me to
cars
be in the boy
are-
car with so Magnolia can ask me questions?
Yeah,
Okay, yes.
I mean, we're in Boston, so technically they're all mass cars.
Okay.
There
So
we
what
go.
do Magnolia and Mabandon
Abandon.
talk about?
well, bam, bam.
Mabim.
Can I see that pistol of yours one more time, please?
Sure. And she'll, again, flip. Do the dramatic thing each time. What do you want to
That's
see
very
about
nice.
it?
It looks like it hasn't been cleaned since I was in short pants, so I wanted to give it a little once over.
The person I trained with told me it should have been cleaned recently. Sorry, yeah. And she'll kind of hand it over, like, very clearly not the one who usually cleans the gun.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, and I'm sure you can handle yourself just fine. It's just I'm sort of gotten used to this whole I'm the one that has to use the guns thing, and if there's going to be somebody else who's at least somewhat capable with a pistol, I just want to make sure it's not going to jam on you and get you killed, that's all.
You say you're the only one that usually brings a pistol, but then you gave a pistol to everybody else? And she's like she's watching everything you're doing. You're not sure if it's either just like trying to figure out what you're doing to her gun or just like trying to figure out how to clean the gun for herself.
Yeah, I'm trying to sort of spread that responsibility around just a little bit, but also after what happened on the last job that Maltese and I did, it has become very clear to me that this is a very dangerous line of work, and I want to make sure everybody is well protected. It is my job to make sure that all of you get home just fine. I'm not so worried about preserving the general public, though that is one of our directives, albeit low on the list, but it is certainly my job to keep my fellow agents alive, and that is what I intend to do.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Although I know I'm new here, but I can assure you I have seen things. I know this job is dangerous and it has a lot of tough decisions around it. So, don't worry about me being able to take care of myself, but I appreciate a more seasoned agent being willing to help me out.
I think we're going to work just fine together. And he, puts the slide back. He's satisfied with his work, and he hands it over. And if you need anything, just call Mayday. He hands your pistol back. Hey! That's pretty good. I like that. Mayday. Agent Mayday.
Yeah.
Welcome to the team.
And just as Magnolia says that, you both arrive in front of the Dorchester House. Both cars arrive at the Dorchester House psychiatric facility. And just like Maple would have seen in the blueprints, there is a large wrought iron fence with inward-facing hooks all around the perimeter. And at the front gate, there is a guardhouse. Apparently, someone, and it looks like there's parking inside. I think that's where we're ending tonight's episode, just because we're almost out of time here. So we're at the Dorchester House, and next week we will explore and get to the bottom of this mystery. There was a lot of it was very first day of school energy, and that's not a bad thing. It was it was very agents getting to know each other and sort of testing the waters and getting expositioned by their handler, and also noticing some weird stuff along the way too, which happens. So thank you everyone for watching. We had a couple raids during the show too. Thank you to both of those channels for those raids. We appreciate you guys so much. We are playing Delta Green's Adventure Impossible Landscapes, written by Dennis Dittwiller and a few other folks. And we're here every Thursday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Wait, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And so we hope that you'll come back and join us next time as the investigation continues. I'm Doc Rimbo. I am your handler. And I'm on Twitch as Doc Rimbo, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Threads. So come and find me there and watch me talk about the show and send out reminders that it's happening. That's pretty much all I use social media for right now. But we also have an amazing cast. So let's go around the circle one last time and meet our players for today. Everyone, I'll be asking, who we are, where we can find you, what other stuff you have going on, and also, I don't know, just like a takeaway that you have from today's game. We will go in reverse order. That means we're starting with Liv. Liv, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
My favorite Margaret moment today was when you said it's not an exemplar, but it's an example, because it was the dumbest thing ever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do what I can where I can.
What's going on with you?
Not much. Honestly, this is kind of going to be the only game that I do all month. My other shows are taking a break. So
Love having you all to ourselves.
Child will be happy. Everyone here will be happy.
Baby puppy.
Yeah, so sorry. Today's been a rough day for us. But I'm Liv. This is Deity. We had a great time and a lot of fun. Yeah, and hey, the gang's all here. We're doing it. Yay!
The boys!
The boys!
The boys!
The boys!
Excellent. Thank you, Liv. We love you. Deity, good to see you. Next, we'll talk to one of our new agents, Lonnie. I love it. You bring a unique energy to this team, and already I can feel the dimensions sort of shifting around it a little bit, and it's really great. And I'm so glad you're here. My Lonnie moment for today, well, my I guess Mayday moment for today, if that's the name she's going to go with, is just her. She had a couple scenes with Magnolia, and her standing up to Magnolia's weirdness and like awkward socialness and also hyper violence and stuff. That was a very interesting pairing for me. And so I loved that scene. And then that last scene there where Magnolia was the one to he sort of dropped the curtain just a little bit, probably because he was so tired from all the nightmares, and said, I just want to keep people safe, And I like that a lot too. Lonnie, who are you? What else do you have going on? What's new with you?
I am Lonnie, or Looney Shaws, and I am now playing Agent Mayday, which is very exciting. I love how that was announced, honestly. That was really, I didn't even realize what was happening for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you focusing on Mayday? Why are you focusing? Oh. It was fantastic. Other than this, basically, I think I'm in one game of Icon at the end of the month. I think the 25th. So I'm also kind of just here, and really loving that this is my first session, and I already love playing with all of you, and really looking forward to seeing how all the tensions and me figuring out how to be an A cell going to an M cell character and trying to figure out who my character is and all that is going to be really cool. So.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Let us proceed. Cyberella, Jana.
Hi.
First of all, the picture of Maltese, I think, was a life-changing moment for all of us. But also, my other Maple moment was when you got your microphone fixed during the break.
Yeah, that
so we
helped
could
a lot.
hear you. I was like, yes. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Yes, that's going up on the evidence board when you least expect it. Thank you. Cyber, what's going on with you? What else do you have happening? Anything else that you've got going on?
I think I'm doing something, but I forgot what it is. So we'll just ignore it.
Yeah,
I may show up in a stream some point outside of this one. Other than that, I'm Cyberella Draws. You can find me as Cyberella Draws on Twitter and Blue Sky, and then Soot Child on Tumblr, because what is consistency precious? Not me. Otherwise, I draw things. I've drawn a couple of things from tonight's show, and I've got a couple more to finish, so you can find them on my art channels. So.
So be sure to follow Cyberella on the socials. But also, this is a good chance to remind you that we've got a Discord here at Lost Caravan. And maybe we should start up a channel for people to talk about this show, because I know sometimes series have their own channels, but we should just use that also to post art from Cyberella and
a home for me.
Delta Green art and all that. That would be fun. So thank you, Cyberella. Welcome to the team. So glad to have you here.
That was fun.
Colin. Colin.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of great Magnolia moments
Magnolia
tonight. Oh, please be Colin.
There we go.
Thank you.
Right. Yes, go on.
There's so many great Magnolia moments. My moment of the night was pardon my cursing.
Yes.
I love that disconnect of being just such a psychopath, but also doesn't like swearing. That is pretty great.
I like to do stuff like that with him a lot. Like, he apologizes for swearing. He orders Shirley Temples for drinks. Like,
yes, 2 Shirley Temples, extra maraschino cherry.
With extra maraschino cherries.
Maybe
and I have to give a shout out.
There.
I got to give a shout out to Cyberella for my favorite, completely selfishly, but my favorite drawing that Cyberella did that's in our Discord that you guys can't see yet, but hopefully we'll be able to see.
I'll be posting it again.
Oh, great. That's a picture of Magnolia saying, I'm going to need you to carry your weight with future murders.
Oh, they're so good. My other favorite one with Magnolia, and it is you standing next to Margin and saying, no, and her saying, you aren't that helpful.
Yeah, no, what else you got?
Love it.
I love being this guy because he's just so fucking weird. Justin, I didn't tell you this, by the way, my friend, but
yeah.
Part of my inspiration, and you may not remember this, you are part of my inspiration for this character. Not
really? Me personally, or a character I play?
Not you personally, thank fuck. But a character that you played on my channel like 2 years ago. In the one shot we did of Apocalypse World, where you played that like weird like River Tam inspired motherfucker.
Yeah, it was River Apple was her name, because she was inspired by the prototypical wayfish Fiona Apple River Tam mid-90s stereotype, and so but she was also completely insane.
Yes, yeah, like you might not see the immediate personality connection, but I swear the demeanor and the general.
I can see it.
I'm gonna say some weird shit is there. And that is you, my friend, 100%.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to have inspired him.
I also wanted to share too that in the background we've had a secret chat going about what we're gonna name Lonnie in the background that we've been running for weeks now. But we decided that during the first session, things were gonna come up that would give us a hint about what we should name Lonnie. We almost went with this was my one we put forward, but we almost went with Agent Maybe. That's one, because we were gonna be like, yeah, maybe, like you're not quite ready to be an agent, but maybe. You know,
that would have broken my heart.
But that just before we got to the end of the episode, Turk suggested Agent Mayday, and I'm like, that's really fucking good, and we all liked it. So I was like, I could sneak that into a conversation somehow and make that come up organically.
Well, thank you guys for coming up with a good name.
It works very nicely. I think that's going to be a good one for you. I'm Colin. I told you that already. Wait, I got to do Turk's thing. I'm Colin, or Colin Edward to my mother. And only my mother. Yeah, I make games too, so I'm one half of Six String Games, so look up some of my games. I made a game about climbing Everest and dying. I'm very proud of it.
I still think we need to make a game with those weird dice you got.
Yeah, I picked up a D24 and a D30 the other day, and I don't
fucking unnatural, unhinged, not
a D3,
okay.
A D7,
honestly,
like
dark-sided. I'll tell you what it is. It's dark-sided.
Wow.
I come up with suggestions for what I can do with these stupid dice that I
think we should call it the quest for normal dice. But all the rolls that you do to get normal dice.
How many?
The goal of the game is get rid of your stupid dice.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great.
And I also want to give a really quick shout out to Turk for the scene of putting a fucking Mets cap at Fenway Park, because that makes me.
That was
so
mine
happy.
for Turk too. That was mine for.
Oh, I'm
for
sorry to steal your thunder.
no,
That's
no,
me.
no. That was
I gotta
absolutely
come
mine
up
for
with another one.
Maltese. And like just sneaking off to the Mets place and texting the boys. He's always Maltese, even when he's on the job. You know.
I love also that we got to all quickly roleplay the boys texting him back.
I would like more opportunities like
that.
that. As the season progresses, we have more
Yeah,
boys like
I-
speakerphone calls.
Please. Now, please tell me about how awesome Turk is.
Yes, Turk is awesome, and Turk has been playing Agent Maltese, everyone's favorite fireman himbo. Go Mets. Hey Turk, what else you got going on, bud?
You are going to be shocked, but in the coming days, I am nowhere to be found.
I am shocked.
Exactly.
I'm aghast. Aghast, I say.
So, I will say that any future games, I will, of course, be available, or I will be reposting anything as Turk Accented on my social medias. So if you follow me on Blue Sky or whatever the hell the rich psychopath wants to call it.
You
this
mean
week.
the one at twitter.com, that one?
Twitter.com.
Right.
Exactly. Loved X so much he made his wife an X. I will be reposting usually there. And of course, I bounce between Lost Caravan and also one of our cool raiders, Neon Lights Roleplay.
Just rated.
Yeah,
also Val
exactly.
Jones channel. Hi, Val.
Hey, Val.
Well,
So there's a lot of exciting things to come, though I do have to give a shout out to the 18th because Oathsworn is my baby somewhat. And that is my Greek mythology meets epic fantasy. Smush them together, and we are sailing to the first island, and they have a countdown of 60 days, not actual days. That'd be ridiculous, but in-game
phew.
days. I know that'd be crazy because bi-weekly they'd have no time left, but they will be. They're on a deadline now. So if you haven't joined us for an episode of Oathsworn, it's never the wrong time, and YouTube videos exist. And if you want to see season 1, contact me, because don't look up season 1 on YouTube. It's a whole long story, but just don't.
All right.
Anyway, I am super honored to be a part of this game with all these awesome, amazing people, and I think y'all should support all the people you see on your screen here, or else I'll be sad about it.
Don't make Turk sad.
Don't make me sad. I cry very easily. Fun fact about me.
That's,
Tears come out of my eyes very easily.
That is wonderful. I love that about you.
But yeah, this has always been an absolute pleasure. I'm so happy to add all these new faces and have us all be blending. And
Yeah, me too.
We'll see y'all when we see y'all.
Me too. And I'll close by saying that I'm so glad that we're weekly now, so that I don't have to wait 2 weeks to see y'all again. So we'll be back here next week to go into the Dorchester house and look for these missing agents. You all are fantastic people. We love the Lost Caravan RPG, and Hoop, who ran Tech First tonight and pulls many a string, did a great job, and we love them too. And who is also Agent Mori, who is decidedly spineless. But that's life. That's what happens in Delta Green.
Mori.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody stay tuned. We are going to be rating lollygaggers. And so stick around and give them some love from us. And we will see you right here next week at the same time. Thanks. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.